because I can.
This man is not a hero, he's a criminal.
Shut up!
Hey everybody, it's your buddy Admiral Teag. Welcome. I've got a great show for you today with a special guest. It's a friend of mine. He's been here before, but it's been way too long. Please welcome Fletcher Williams. He sucks at games. Hey buddy, what's going on?
Boom, boom. What's up, bro? How you doing? It's great to talk to you. It's been a while.
It's been a while since we actually chatted, but we've
Right.
been on really friendly terms and we've like interacted parasocially or whatever you want to call it on an ongoing
Parasocially,
basis.
is that what they're calling it now?
I love that word. Yeah, I heard it from Penguin Zone, or is it Penguin Z1 or Penguin Zone?
Yeah.
The long-haired guy.
The long-haired dude.
He's now obsessed with cryptocurrency scams. He's a great
Nice.
YouTuber though. Let me say hi to the people who are here, by the way. Hello on X. I've got my other device set up, so like X, don't worry, I'm looking over my shoulder. It's like keeping the man on first, right? Like looking down the second, looking over your shoulder. Every once in a while, I almost spit on the floor because I feel like I'm a pitcher. Hello, Lombardi, 1969. Hello, John, the Beagle Dad. Hello to myself, and hello to Tim. So with that, across platforms, hello on Rumble, which I'm not really supposed to say, but I guess, since I already said it, I guess we could speak of it pejoratively. A lot of weird stuff going on with Rumble, where I only recently made my return, and this is why I returned to Rumble. One, I got about 130 subscribers there, which is all right.
Right.
And with Rumble, with no algorithm, sometimes weird shit happens. Like the time that I was beating the hell out of Culture Casino, that is ridiculous, and it's also, it would never happen here, but it just shows you what Wild West it is, because there's and it only lasted like 25 minutes, but for a little while that was preposterous.
Right.
Weird things can happen on X. I looked over on X. I looked over at Rumble. You guys, you're with let's tell people what you do.
Yeah, so basically I do a lot of modding and some producing here and there. I basically got into it because my wife was wanted me to have some kind of artistic outlet for my ADHD and the whole dyslexia thing and all stuff. And she thought that, hey, how about you do something on the Interflex? And I was like, all right, sure, whatever. So I started a channel. Then I started talking to more of what she calls my Interflex friends. And then just started modding for people, started producing for people, started doing more on. And then she's like, well, let's do something of our own too about being Catholics and nerds. And it's like, oh, cool. So let's do that. So then we started that channel not too long ago. But we just basically started putting stuff up and doing a live stream like recently in Indignant Desert Birds. So it's it's been like a little bit crazy. I mean, I think we've met, and we were chatting in a chat, I think, and then we got invited to places and stuff, and then we just started talking. And it's it's an unusual, very kinetic world of the YouTubes. You know what I mean? Because it's so many different people from different backgrounds doing different things, so it's kind of fun. It's
a lot of fun. I think recently what's been going on is we've been seeing politics used to be downstream from culture. I have a feeling that politics may have moved to be among culture, or even maybe upstream.
Yeah.
It seems like culture is now downstream from politics. Like, for instance, Zachary Levi.
Right.
He was dead and buried, his career was finished, and then all of a sudden a certain political event happens, and now people are speaking of him in a more positive light again, and people are going to have to say, you know what? For God's sake, can we just live together? A nation divided into half cope and half gloat cannot endure. As much as it's great for our pal Snowdub, who we love. We could get to Snowdub. He's got the best cope videos I mean, I'll say right now, I don't have a lot of empathy for someone who goes and puts their face on, some kind of tantrum, who then feels that they've been cheated because someone harvested that tantrum, which they gave away. When we do this show, it's in some ways, it's a little bit like a baseball leaving the stadium. I don't get to say who keeps the ball.
Right.
And, I thought it was disingenuous. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know which one you're referring to. What brand specific you're referring to?
A pal of ours, Snowdub.
Yeah, I know Snowdub. Right.
Okay, so Snowdub he got called out by YouTube, and he had a strike, which I think will not endure. Yeah, it was all over X for a week.
He's back.
He's back today. Yeah. But the thing is, the liberal tiers are going to go on Rumble, and because YouTube is so restrictive. So what's going on is on Rumble, we see a move, and I would call it a fucking dick move, where they're going to turn around and rug everybody by, if you're a creator there, now you got to pay to get paid. So you didn't hear about that shit?
I have no clue. You know what? We're on Rumble just because
so no one else can be you on Rumble.
No, it actually, you know why it was? It was because we follow some... I don't know if you know about this, but there was like a big push to from the three-letter agencies against Catholics who were going to the Latin Rite, and most of the time we go to Latin Rite masses. We were actually put in those lists because we're weirdos supposedly. And all this kind of stuff. So we were a lot of priests and some of the masses and all stuff were moved into other areas, and one of those areas for a lot of people was Rumble because of the less censorship. So to be able to watch certain people, we had to kind of go over to Rumble, and then we would just post stuff. And one time we got our channel struck because we were talking about the unknown virus of unknown origin. And then they blew up the video, and it was still up on Rumble. And I was like, all right, let's just keep putting stuff up there. But we're not monetized or anything, so I have no clue. So basically, they're saying pay us so we can pay you. It's the modern payola. Nice. Teag? I think.
Sorry, I muted myself.
Oh,
hello, first of all, hello to Mark Harkness. And you know what? This is, first of all, the first move to Rumble was just to make sure no one else could be me there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The last thing I need is some asshole showing up as Admiral Teag and doing a show about, I don't know, disco.
I loved it. No, I love Discovery.
Yeah, exactly. That's my disco. I meant that, doing a show about. I don't even like to say their real name. I hate that show so much. But we could get more into that in a minute. As far as Star Trek is wrapped around all of today's news. All of today's news is going to be paid off in the Star Trek stuff, I know. And by the way, here's the deal. The reason I had to remove a lot of Regs is not because anybody's in trouble or anybody was disrespected, but because I was getting a lot of shit from people joining the channel, and I understand it was, why is everyone there just a wrench? You know, it's like, and when people were buying memberships, and by the way, thanks to all the new members, it's up to 91 members.
What?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it'll change next month, but, you know, I think the gifties are great because, you know what? I'll earn it. I'll make a member video for you. Last week, I took everyone for a ride on the subway. If you're a new member, check that one out. I was going to work on today's, but there are several topics, and I wanted to be prepared for Fletcher, too, because as I promised in last week's video, the Tuesday and Thursday shows are going to be more entertainment-oriented, more focused, and we're going to let you know right up front what's going on so that you know, it's worth sticking with, and that's been paying off. I can't believe the subscribers were so kind as to, after we watched the Yellowstone watch party last night, people who didn't watch with us actually watched the watch party longer listening to our reactions, and it got about 50% more views, and it's still climbing. And people are listening for a significant amount of time when they can't see the video, or they're syncing it up to get the commentary for whatever reason, or people are going to the end to get our wrap-ups. Whatever reason, thank you all for listening to them. It's really it's an honor, and
That's
I
awesome,
thank
man.
everybody.
That's
Yeah, but
awesome.
as far as the Rumble thing, I went over to my Rumble lawyer, Fat Steven Seagal.
He's
the
Canadian and the Rumble lawyer.
He's Canadian for now.
Yeah.
He'll be American soon enough.
Oh, I didn't hear about this detail.
Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
We'll put it this way. If you can't get to America, we'll bring America to you. Coming soon.
Oh, I see what you
I don't
did
think that's
there.
actually
All
going to really happen, but it's still fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's
And-
gonna become it's funny because even like the other day I heard no diss to my Canadian brethren. So I worked in Canada for a while with my family, but they were like, "Are they Alaskan Mexicans?" And I was like, "That is the most hilarious thing I've heard." I was like, "What?" They're getting uppity, the Alaskan Mexicans, and I'm like, dude, I've never heard that one. That was the Mapleheads, I've heard like all kinds. The most polite society, all this kind of stuff, but I've never heard that. So I was like, okay, that's the new slur that I have heard was was that. I was like, okay, well, that's a new one. But I did see a lot of people doing like buy Canada. I'm gonna buy US. I'm gonna buy Canada. I was like,
It looks like right now, I don't know what the situation is. We went right to the brink, and then there was like some wavering, maybe possibly on both sides, because really no one wants a trade war. So we saw a whole series of Star Wars movies about a trade war. It didn't end well.
Right.
Didn't end well for Vader. But you know what? I will say this. If it can be avoided, it'd be best. But I did see both sides sort of like, if you drink this coffee from America, drink this coffee from Canada. And on the other hand, we had, if you're an American and you drink and you use this maple syrup, get this maple syrup from Vermont. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm trading off one communist country for a communist part of America. Like, don't you have maple syrup from maybe New Hampshire?
That's funny. Yeah, no, I did see that there was a comedy duo that was doing like a bit, and they were like, "What are you doing? You shouldn't buy American." And it's like, "But I like this." And it's like, "No, you got to look at the brands. It's like Crown Royal and stuff like that." And that's like, if it sounds like it'd be British or French, it's Canadian. And I was like, that is a hilarious take. Also.
Probably true. Tim Hortons coffee being the notable exception. That would be like, that sounds like a highly questionable truck stop, and I'm not going to Tim Hortons.
Well,
it really does.
Now we're getting into the questionable truck stuff. This might be a Rumble exclusive.
Right. Well, you know what? I don't really necessarily monetize YouTube. What I do is right before the show, I try to remember to turn it off. So today's experiment is it gives me a thing where I can trigger the ad, and I have not tried this one yet. Ooh. So I'm holding off on triggering the ad, and I'm just not going to trigger it. Because if I don't turn on the AdSense, they won't tell people I'm on.
What?
Yeah, well, what happened is I started solving it generically and slowly by doing things like not listing too far ahead, but letting the show be up for a whole day before I did it instead of just like a few hours. Because for like when you're new and they keep all the money, YouTube loves you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think the last time you saw me was when I hit 500.
Could be, yeah. But now you're up to like, over 2,000.
21:35, give or take.
Dude,
And I thank all of
nice.
you. You know
Nice.
what? They told me that moving to Star Trek would change the character of the channel, and it did. The people are still subscribing for the other stuff too, but basically what I wanted to do is Star Trek was just sort of an identity and something that I loved, and it was fun for the avatar, and it was fun for the channel art and stuff like that. And I could do Star Trek once a week without a problem. I didn't realize that on YouTube, Star Trek is like Mormonism.
What?
It's like, yeah, oh man, people will be like, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, I like Star Trek, and it's like, but what happened to Deep Space Nine, season 4, episode 6? And it's like,
right.
I can tell you, this. Just tell me what year about was that on? It was on like 1999. Okay, I was that year. I can tell you this. I probably tried to watch it and turned it off because I remember leaving during Deep Space Nine a lot, being like, "What the fuck?" Sometimes I started every episode of Deep Space Nine. There's a lot I didn't finish.
No, it was one of. I mean, I think Deep Space Nine was one of those things to where you do kind of fit it. In other words, it is Star Trek in a sense, but it's not in a sense. So it's almost like you know
They want
what they're
some Star
trying
Wars
to do.
in there.
Right,
With
yeah,
with the
they
stuff
tried
going
a
on in
lot.
the wormhole.
A little
yeah.
Battlestar Galactica. There's a
Yep.
little bit of everything in there.
Voyager's
So-
Battlestar Galactica, but yes.
Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I think that they were experimenting. That's why I don't begrudge it, because I think what they're trying to do is they were trying to do. Let's think about it from left field, which hey, it's inventive. That's why I don't mind. Like, it's not for everybody. It's kind of like I don't know if you.
It's the most successful one, though. It's the weirdest one, too.
I think
Voyager
it's
is only
because-
weirder in its incompetence. When Voyager's incompetent, it gets weirder. But for the most part, Voyager, it's not as good. But like it's like the crew is weird, their characters are weird, but the situations aren't always as weird as the stuff on Deep Space Nine. Is just deeply weird. It's committed to weird.
I think it's also because it's in the format that it's very how do I say it, foreign audience, because it does have a little bit of like the humor and take of like something like Red Dwarf or something like that, where you have like a little bit of the brainy type of science fiction attached to it with a peculiar humor. So I do think that that's why it has a bigger international audience maybe than the American audience.
The sheer weight of episodes, there's so many. You know,
That as well. You're dealing with the
More than twice as
plus
many as
don't
TOS.
forget the cast and crew were very accessible. Remember, like, it was a time when like you didn't hear about that many Star Trek people going to cons, and then it blew up. But always the Deep Space
Star Trek
Nine
starts
people,
all that.
Yeah, but what
Star
I'm saying,
Trek started cons.
they started kind of like doing like, you know, it was kind of expensive to go to the main Trek people, but the Deep Space Nine people were a little bit more accessible. I just heard that from some of our friends.
That makes
you know what I
sense
mean?
though, because you become a legend from TNG and a legend in Trek from TOS. William Shatner is like $500 to $600 just to get a picture for a minute while he looks
Right.
at you. And I think he has to be isolated. And in his case, I understand. He's 94. You stand between a piece of plexiglass and Mr. Shatner. He's right there next to you. But yeah, come on, he is 94. On that one, I'm not saying shit. But
No, you're right.
you know what? Let's do the thing that you're most kind of, well, I don't know if well known for, but the biggest gig you have is, I guess we would say, Polio Latino Slant. Fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, was producing that for a bit. I took a bit of a break right now. And I was, you know, in the back a lot and all stuff, but then I got kind of brought to the front a little bit, you know, when things happen.
Yeah, I
or
saw you
guests
on the air
happen.
not too long ago.
Yeah, so it's
Because
usually
I do watch that show at least once a week.
awesome. Yeah, and
It's a
and,
good
like,
show. I recommend it. I'm Latino, right?
There
Why
you
wouldn't I
go.
watch it?
There you go.
Plus, it's a good show. You don't have to be Latino.
There you go. That's for everybody, right? Yeah, so I would get pulled to the front a little bit, you know, and have to translate something, or you know, like they would ask me stuff. But I like also being in the back a little bit more, doing like producing for George, I guess mostly Sundays, and you know, mostly there stay in the back, so it's, you know, a little bit more freer, but yeah. So it's a little bit of there, taking a little bit break of producing a lot, to kind of focus more on, I don't know, putting out content that I get asked for a lot. Is like, hey, do this, do that, and I'm like, oh, I got to do this video. Okay, all right. So I've been doing that a lot, and I've been pulled into more of creating stuff. So, and plus I got my other stuff that I'm working on, so that I can't even talk about yet. But yeah, so it's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, but
Yeah, we'll get into some of these crazy stories that are going on, especially, the one that's coming. You know what story is coming. You've been hearing about it, I'm sure, all week, more and more every day. No one can stop talking about it. It's a horrible movie, and it's nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh,
and
my
it's coming
gosh.
from it's coming from the Latinos. We're on the line for this one. In fact, this might be one movie so bad I'm willing to say the Latinx people made it, whoever the hell they are. But hello, Mr. House Party 6, and give me 1 second here. I got to address something. Here's the deal with the rescinding of a lot of the wrenches. People were coming to the channel and not understanding why it was all only just mods. And because of the size of the channel and what's expected of mods on other channels, we have to all have a talk about anyone who wants the wrench, because what happened was people were jumping into my show and there'd be 7 or 8 mods there, but they're not mods. They're people who are given a wrench because they're creators or given a wrench because they're friends. And what happened was I looked and we had something like 78 wrenches.
But it was great. I was a wrench for a while there, I think.
You probably should have one again, because this is the thing. We're going to have a little bit of, here's the thing. First of all, some of you who are my friends that I know, you're not going to miss out on anything. And the thing is, the wrench, the mod, it's not me who wants this. It's because the channel has reached this size. I apologize, but this is the way it is. People have come into the chat who are new and been like, why does everyone have a wrench? Why does everyone have a wrench but me? How come everyone has a wrench and no one says hello? So I don't ask anybody to say hello. I've never asked that. But the thing is, when people show up, I don't have, we have our own corner of YouTube, but it's part of YouTube, right? So if I go breaking all the rules, the channel is fucked. So there'll be probably a couple more de-wrenchings, but the thing is, it's not personal. And after today, and the veterans of the Battle of 1207.24, they're a lot of them are going to keep their wrenches. We were in it, but mostly it's me doing the modding and the hellos. So if someone starts distinguishing themselves at hellos, if someone starts doing that, it's privileges of channel membership will be extended to you by me through personal communications. And if you are a channel member, hello, Sander Hammerslag. If you are a channel member and you have a wrench as well, you will get the next level up worth of membership. So whatever you are, I will make it that much more worth your while. Saving Star Trek 2 is a thing now. There's another channel that you may not have heard of using my name, but the good news is it's me. So yeah, that's the good news. Let me drop that link in the chat. I have this great new YouTuber. The guy is fantastic. Here's what's going on. Admiral Teag has a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems, but it's not with you people. I love you people. Here's the deal. This is the Saving Star Trek channel. I have a Saving Star Trek channel so that no one else can have it. Have you noticed the trend in some of the things I've been saying about, branding? And hello, Sander. It's good to see you. Here you go. This is my Saving Star Trek channel. Guys, just sub to it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay off a lot of these watch parties and a lot more eccentric stuff onto Saving Star Trek. And I'm thinking about doing something really fucked up and kind of radical. What do you think of this idea? Deep Space 9 p.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
that actually sounds kind of cool.
Close my blind spot with my friends while watching Deep Space Nine, like at Fridays at 9.
There you go. That
freaking adds up.
It just adds up. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And because on this channel, what I most want to do is continue to. It's not about if guys, if the AdSense goes off, it goes off. I tried to put the safeties on. Like I used another setting. That's another AdSense experiment rolls off the assembly line. But here's the deal: anybody who consistently says hello, anybody who consistently makes sure to greet people, anyone who thanks people who give gifts to the channel, I'll get you that wrench eventually. Some people who got de-wrenched, it's because like we're in personal contact and I can just talk to you. This is what happened after I de-wrenched and changed the look of the channel and mixed it up. This is what happened. First of all, I can't tell who's a member when everyone has a wrench. The other thing that happened was this. People were afraid to give gift memberships. I was spoken to by someone who gifted a bunch of memberships, and they said, it didn't seem like anyone got any, as far as like they were already wrenches anyway, don't they get something? And I realized that like we live in this YouTube world, but a lot of the people who jump into YouTube, they're AKA normies, you know what I mean? And right. Like Mark Harkness, for instance, is big, but like his wrench is justified by this one. He got deleted for a moment in the battle of 120724. AI bots attacked me.
Oh man!
Buzzkill droids. AI bots attacked me. So you're back. Well, here's the thing. Anyone who's had a wrench rescinded, it's not like I took anything away from you. I took the impetus off of you to say hello, because it wasn't doing you guys a lot of good either to be thought of as rude wrenches by the people coming in. And ever since I cleared that up with the person who spoke to me, because I'm approachable. Like a lot of hosts, you tell them like, you know what, all your people have wrenches. It's intimidating. I was like, whoa, no, fuck yourself. People are like that. But like the person told me about it, and I had to make a considered opinion. I love you guys, but I go to like Culture Casino, for instance, and we should all aim high, right? Culture, high quality show. Right. What you see on there is there's only about 5 mods, and he has 25,000 subscribers or 30,000 subscribers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right, so 46 mods for Admiral Teag was high. 23 was high. We got it down to like 16. 3 of them are Sean Carter's 3 different accounts, but he's a co-host on the show and might show up at any time. So we had to give him one. He needs one for every account. So I apologize to anyone who feels that they should have one. But here's the deal. When we get the people who want to be mods and who want the membership forever for free and the enhanced memberships when they get gifts, and if you want a gift membership, this channel has them now. They've showed within days of saying to me, it's a bad look, people won't give gift memberships. He might have been speaking on behalf of someone, because within days of that happening, a bunch of people bought memberships to this channel, which to me, it's like you have a secure month. You know what I mean?
Completely, yeah.
And I can lean into it, and I can make you guys some of the video essays that the memberships bought for me. And then the super chats, you know what? That's lunch. It's great.
There you go.
I've been lucky enough to be kind of out of work. I have a job that is like cyclical. I've been lucky enough to be wonderfully out of work, and I've been spending my time trying to do a better job YouTubing. But in that time, I had no heat in Nuevo York for like 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't that horrible, but like the 15th, the 17th, and 19th day when it's 50 degrees and you're breathing steam in your bathroom, you're like, I hate my landlord. And what can you do?
I'm stuck in the Midwest right now, so you can't tell me nothing about no 50 degrees. That's literally summer over here.
By the way, hello to the Gourd King, and it's good to see you, my friend. The Gourd King's got a gift membership too. See, it makes it so much easier. Mr. House Party 6, I'm going to let you keep your wrench, and you don't have to say hello to people. But if you do, it would help. Just Mr. House Party 6 was just in there, like he was just like loving the blood of it in the in the battle of 120724. Like we get totally bot swarmed by forces of the mountain, as I like to call it. That's funny. How a lot of guys do Disney?
Right.
I feel like Disney's
wait a minute.
Well,
when you say that, it sounds a little risque.
Yeah, they do Disney. And hello to my Saturday co-host and soon to be Monday co-host, Resolute Germ. Cool. We're launching our business show, and here's the thing: cool. we're going to focus on Paramount.
Nice.
You know what? Who's doing it?
There you go.
You know what? Disney Plus, a $79 service. You get $79 YouTubers. You know, Paramount Plus, a $9 YouTube service. You get $9 YouTubers. You know, like, but we'll get up there. We'll be the $100 YouTubers, or Disney will end up like they say, and they'll be $9. We'll all be $9 YouTubers, right?
There you go.
As far as the companies. Mr. House Party 6 says Skydance. Skydance will soon be totally in control, but I don't think everything is in control yet. And I think that's why the Section 31 movie snuck out. Did you see that, Rex?
They had to release that thing. There's no way. I'm sure, because someone like Michelle Yeoh, you can't erase her. So I guarantee that in her contract,
they threw $12 million. There was no contract.
I guarantee she's had something saying that it has to be released because of her image. They can't have a movie with her not be released.
I think if she saw this movie, she would relent on that.
I don't think she cares. I think
you know what? She must not care, because it's not like 5 years in this movie worth of just terrible performances.
No, plus she's an international star. Have you seen some of the stuff that she was in when she was in Hong Kong? I mean,
yeah, and then she's a Bond girl from one of the better Bond movies of the last 30 years.
That was a good Bond movies, yes.
And she was a great Bond girl, and she was hot when she was young. But this new visage of her, well, the thing is, like, I wouldn't know if she looks hot now, because, like, I haven't seen the international stuff, and I didn't see Everywhere All at Once, because I hate fucking time travel. By the way, I'm sorry, Fletcher, I curse on my channel. I'll try to refrain.
It's all right. You're from New York, along with a large percentage of my household, so. Yeah,
that's okay. So you can absorb the foul language.
I do absorb the foul language. I understand.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what? New York City, and I'm dyslexic like you, so it helps me invent like great new names and nicknames for things, because I look at stuff and I just see it wrong. But here, like dyslexics of the world, untie. But one thing I always like to call New York is fucked upistan. Yeah, welcome to fucked upistan.
I know, but you had a golden year with Giuliani, and then it all went to heck. You know, back when your subways were not destroyed. Oh my gosh,
that subway
we
thing
were in
was
New York
so
not too long
appalling.
ago, and it was the smell of Manhattan. I can't tell you how horrible that is. It was shocking. It was shocking.
Where in town were you? Because I'm in Manhattan a lot.
We were. When were we in New York? When were we in New York? Like a couple of years ago, I think it was. That's what my wife said.
If you were there in the dead of the summer and it hadn't rained in a while, New York does smell like a huge outdoor toilet. It does.
Well, it was crazy because, you know, a few of the stores were closed and all this kind of stuff. It was very unusual. Very unusual.
Kung flu.
Yeah. I mean, interesting, but. Yeah, I mean, I have so many families, but, you know, the family that I think we have mostly in New York are, you know, we had some people that were in Manhattan, like a couple people, but most are like, you know, Brooklyn and Queens.
Well, I'm in Queens.
You're in Queens,
Which is not doxing myself. You only have, like, what, 6 million people to look for?
Yeah, go look for a lengthy Latino. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, we'll see.
Let's find a Cuban guy in New York City.
Let's see what happens there. Yeah, that's gonna be easy. Yeah, it's not like newsflash, guys. It's not like person of interest.
Yeah, it's funny though. It's like I'll say this: like as far as like Mediterranean unity goes a lot farther than Caribbean unity, and Mediterranean unity is a disaster.
My gosh, it's everything. It's like it's like the West Indian folks and the Jamaicans are
they hate the Cubans,
but they hate the Cubans, and then you're like the Haiti people. They're like, they're all in their own little island. The Trinidadians and the West Indies, and it's like St. Lucia. It's like, St. Lucia and Trinidad, you're right next to each other. White St. Kitts, why are you guys messing with each other? Y'all do carnival. You fete all you want, but it's unity when it's something else though. Sometimes everybody does fried plantains though.
Yes, exactly, and that's something that, like, as a New Yorker, and I think I told you, my Latino thing is pretty unique. It was dropped on me in the middle of my life. Well, I was adopted.
Yeah, but it's all right. Once you're Latino for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say like I'm not the Elizabeth Warren of Latinos. Like, I'm heavily Latino. It's just like you would never know. And like I'm looking in my mirror and I'm like, and you saw me earlier. Like, you could kind of tell, but like you would have to have like a clue.
I've seen you behind. I've seen you from. Well, never mind. That sounded terrible. I've seen you from behind. Teag.
You've seen my face.
I've seen your face and stuff, and we chatted on screen before, and yeah, it's like I have like it's funny because like in Brazil, which is the most mixed, I would say, of the Latin American countries, I have cousins in the same exact family, and some of them are blonde, blue eyes, and some of them are kiki hair and extremely tanned to black, and they're in the same like group, like brothers and sisters with no devious stepping out. It's just the genetics of it. It's just that's what happens. That's why it's a region. Latino is a region. It's not a skin color, and all the people
It
who
might
say
even
otherwise
include
are
the people from the
goofy as heck.
Philippines because they have they speak
We have
Spanish.
Spanish,
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Have you heard Tagalog? Like it's like 40% in Spanish.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah, it's like it's not como está, it's como está.
Okay,
like, instead
so
of saying como está usted, it's como está cana. Right?
So it's like a Spanish Creole.
It's very similar to Spanish Creole because Spain was part of the culture until they kicked Spain out, but then they got invaded by other people. But it's there are cousins. That's where I consider them, no matter what. And plus, I had an auntie this Filipino and spoke Tagalog, so we everybody's welcome to the party,
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's like, first of all, everyone was really welcoming of me, except like every once in a while between people from the Mediterranean, it'll be like, fucking Cubano. And I'm like, hey. But the one thing I had to, like, my revelation looking in the mirror at myself for a minute after the day after I found this out and finding out how high the percentage was. And looking at it and like my mother just being like, yeah, but we weren't going to take it back, and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just like, I was like, I don't see a Latino guy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, like Cameron Diaz, Charlie Sheen, Desi Arnaz from Cuba,
right?
Like pictures of my own grandfather from freaking Cuba. He was, as fair skinned as I, and that was an eye opener for me.
Right. Look, I mean, if you look at famous Cubans, from back in the days, you were mentioning like the 50s and stuff. You look at Desi Arnaz, is like, he has black hair and stuff like that, but he was very, very light skinned. And then you have, Celia Cruz, you know what I mean? So it's like, or Tito Puentes, who was kind of like a little bit more swarthy.
Yes.
But Celia Cruz is, you can say she's, on the very dark side, beautiful. And so, I mean, it runs the gambit. It goes, that's the thing about being from an area that's so mixed that you really, it's funny because a lot of the issues that I think people say that we have, it's not really that prevalent because what we do have in Latin America is a lot of, there is a little bit of racism and there's a little bit of like a color discrimination. The darker you are, the more you want to marry like somebody lighter in certain areas. But everybody's mixed. You can't really say. Even the whitest of white people, if you look at their family, they're not. It's not, there's no so pure race over there. Whereas black power people or white power people, it's like y'all dip and dive in somewhere in your family line. So.
Yeah, like I had a friend. My friend was like, I was talking about my half brothers, or whatever you want to call them, right? My father's, and his wife's children, because I was, I met my biological father, I met, my biological family, and they're like, tell us about them, and I'm like, oh, they're black, and they're like, that's so fucked up, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, they're African American. I'm like, no, they're not, and they're like, you said they live in New Jersey. I'm like, yeah, so what? And they're like, so they're African American. I'm like, they were born in England. Yeah. So like that, there goes that one out the window. Like, was he essentially an American from New Jersey in most every other way? Yeah, but like to say that, it's like, are we really serving him well? And I guess we've got there now. This is one of my questions in one of my notes. There's a word.
What?
It's a messed up word. It's a word that came out of nowhere like 5 years ago, and it seems so fallen completely out of favor. There seems to be no trace of it, but Latinx. The hell.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about this word. I consider it hateful. How about you?
It's you know what? It is a derogatory word. That's where I considered it. I consider it you know when the people also the other
Tell me why you don't like it. I'll tell you why I don't like it. Because I have a reason.
For one thing, it's grammatically incorrect, and that's horrid.
Bad English, yeah.
It's bad English. It's bad Spanish. And the other thing is, it's not inclusive. You know,
actually, it excludes all but 1.1% of everybody because
it's what it did was right?
Whatever it might be, it's really small. There's not enough for us to fucking start any business or win any election advocating only to them. You know, maybe as part of some broader coalition, but certainly not the shot callers and the only people you want to relate to. I mean, I'll just say it. Without giving away my feelings of what I did, the most effective thing in the last political cycle was that they-them commercial from Trump.
Oh, yeah.
That was the most effective commercial. I take no stand on anything in it. I could just make an observation. But that was just the way it was. And so we have a lot of issues with that right now. But the word Latinx, I felt like the one thing that bothers me is you've gone with the X, which means that you're kind of somewhere like you're transitioning or you're trans, right? Like the X thing.
Right.
Because like I know I'm not a social media app as far as that goes. And so I felt like it was a hateful word made up in Hollywood rather than even in academia. And that the idea was to make it seem like an entire group of people in the second biggest language spoken in the entire freaking world behind Chinese, I think, are all like default like cats. We're all default like genderless.
Right. I mean, and it's all weird because you also have Hispanic, right? So it's like if you speak Spanish or have connection to Spain, you know, you can say Hispanic. And that's gender neutral, bro. So it's like you had alternatives like right in your face, but then you it's just so weird. I don't know I know where they came up with it. It's, you know, it's a college educated person who's not Latino or Hispanic that came up with it, I guarantee you. But for people in the chat, if you guys don't know, so Latino is a term that's, you know, letting you know where in geography you are born. So if you were born anywhere, and that includes kind of part of the Caribbean, as Teag mentioned, Cuba, so that's Latino. Hispanic, it's mostly a term that is, you know, it's about the language. So Espanol, you know, that means the country whose primary language is Spanish. You can be Latino but not be Hispanic because, like in Brazil, where half my family's from, they don't speak Spanish; they speak Portuguese. In Guinea, they don't speak Spanish. So you have all these kind of things that happen. But Latinx is just, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm partly retarded, and I say that's
crazy word from Hollywood that made me feel like reclassified, like some kind of freaking germ or animal. Fuck your word, Hollywood. Right. Hey, locked and on. It's good to see you. I gotta say, guys, this is the most successful stream in a while, so maybe this like playing around with pulling the trigger on AdSense later is a good idea, so that we don't have to like. They will not tell people unless I turn it on, and I don't want to run it on people. But I guess let's jump into like a couple of things in more pop culture, because we talked about our identity, and we'll probably get into our own identities at the end, but like not in a way where we're preaching. Like we're just talking about ourselves, and you're invited to listen to our observations, which is what this show is anyway. But at the end, we might be getting personal in a way that you haven't heard before. And no, we're not going steady or anything like that. It's quite you'll be shocked. Stick around to the end of the show; you'll enjoy it. Before the show went on, Adrian Curry reposted that a tweet by Elon saying that Rings of Power 3 was canceled, and he said it was cut to one of the five-letter agency that starts with US. But it seemed to like I think that maybe she was re-trolling us with him. I don't know what to make of it. It's Elon. It could just as well be serious.
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, this is actually funny. I mean, are you pulling the thing up, or you were just talking about it?
I guess I could pull up Adrian's tweet. Give me a moment
And
on that one, but we'll
yeah,
talk
just
about it. It just
yeah.
said
So it's one of those. So basically, once you guys see the tweet, you're gonna think like, wait a minute, because we've been eating so good lately. When I say that, it's meaning people who kind of want to see the government not be part of your world as much. Uh, all this people that are making their living off the government, and basically us. It's good eating. It's like it's going nuts. We like to see these kind of people go nuts, because we're like, hey, you guys been eating off the dole for so long that watching them, squirm and stuff like that, it's just, I mean, it's been crazy. I can't believe it's just like it's like less than a month, and it's that Trump's been in office, and it's just been insane. And I don't know if you saw, but Elon actually changed his description of himself in X to White House IT, and I was like, that's hilarious.
That's funny. I
That
mean,
is
we have. I
hilarious.
can't. You know what? Adrian Curry's as bad as me as far as the X posting. Adrian has a problem. Just like I do. Adrian, meet me. We'll work it out together. But no, she retweeted a tweet by Elon. I guess I'm going back a couple of days now, but she's as bad as me. Um, and I have a problem. But she had retweeted something that Elon posted about how. Hold on. See if I can find it. She's like, "You're my hero if this is true." She's prolific. All right. I
Oh,
got
so
to pull the
basically,
plug
you
on
got
that
it.
one.
Oh yeah, so you got it, or so basically, what the tweet was is that, if
Oh,
I
thank
remember
you.
correctly, was that um, that because they're cutting all the funding to the U.S. aid, which U.S. aid is the branch of the government that gives
This is
aid
where
to
we
foreign
export some of
country.
our tax money. And,
Right.
like, here's the thing I don't know if it was a terrible idea in 1960, but that was a long time ago.
Correct, and there was a whole less people there and a lot less stealing, but
Right,
you're
exactly,
still funding
exactly.
their
Things
pet
have changed.
project, and somebody said they were canceling because a lot of the stuff is attached to like DI policies and rainbow mafia stuff. Um, that if I'm correctly, the tweet said that they're canceling Rings of Power season 3
Because
because
of
they're not going to fund it up the
USAID. Is not.
USAID. Yeah,
Which to me is not completely inconceivable. The thing is, it sounds like a troll, but it's
yeah,
not completely
right.
inconceivable because what happens is Elon, first of all, he could be trolling Bezos because they kind of have a competition. As my neighbor freaking revs up his motorcycle for what is usually 20 minutes, you dick. It's February. Where the hell are you going on your motorcycle in New York?
It's got to look
Please
cool,
find a
bro.
patch
It's
of
got to
ice.
look
Please,
cool.
please, please find a patch of ice. But Elon said that USAID not being able to give a tax exemption or like fund some sort of film thing in New Zealand ended it. And it's so Byzantine, like he said. And I made the best case for it was in a world that needed it. There was a need for it, but it's a long time ago. Like, did it make sense to give the BBC to get like its signal into countries before the internet? Probably like in the 60s when Africa is having a whole bunch of strife, getting like some sort of capitalistic voice or anti-communist stuff in there by radio probably meant a lot. But it's 2025. So, you know what I mean? Like some
Well, I
ideas have
mean,
aged out, and
dude,
like you said, they've had a long time to mess with it. But I see the historical basis.
you can see, but right now, like part of what it said is that it's they $30,000 going to Peru to promote an Alphabet Mafia comic book. It's like $30,000. Why you? I mean, the other one is like transgender opera in Colombia, like $70,000. You're like, come on, man. This is not because when you think of USA, we were talking about this with my wife when we were driving, and then we were like, wait a minute. USA all the time, because she's, born in America, all her life in America. And then she's like, USA, you always keep thinking, oh, it's you're offering food and shelter.
Yeah, we're gonna
and,
give some food
right,
to some
exactly,
kid in like
to
a bad
starving
place
children
and help
somewhere in
them
the
out.
world.
Which I saw people scoffing at that. No, if it only did that, I'd be saying keep it.
But it's not. It's sending like
It's not.
it was like
It's
$2
not.
million for condom for Gaza that they used for bombs or something like that. I was
Right,
like, what
I mean,
the heck?
Some of these stupid stories like the condom bomb, I don't believe that one. But the fact that they could skim off money or make any money off anything that they could get for free, that's not insane at all. We're talking
Oh, yeah.
about people who their religion is based around being a merchant. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Look, there's normal, reasonable people of that faith all around me, but like the people who are making the condom bombs are of that particular belief system. It's too much of a good thing. They're extremists. I would say, I won't tell them they should change. I like what I do. I like what we do better. What can I say? But what that is just the idea that you have this government program that it can't stay pure, that you can't keep it under control. What's the solution? Do we just have to have like bad forest management kind of a thing? It's like every few years the forest needs to burn down so new growth can come.
No, completely. I mean, the only thing that's happening right now is basically shutting down stuff and saying, why are you doing this? I guarantee you, if people would show us, say, you know what, this transgender comic book that we had to, do in Peru, it saved so many lives because 5 kids thought that they were going to commit, they were going to jump off a bridge or something if they didn't read this comic book. Then I'm sure, people could say, hey, I don't know, maybe there's something you need. But you would think, when you think USA, you think they're building wells to have water.
It's almost like
roofs,
the Peace Corps.
right, and all something like that. But then
But it's not.
you also have the Peace Corps. It's like there's so many other organizations doing it and doing it better. The government really is not good at doing things off the cuff and fast. And when you need aid, you have to do stuff off the cuff, and you got to do it fast. Like when there's an actual emergency, you need whatever it need, boots on the ground type of thing. And that's why I think, that we're talking about getting rid of FEMA. And people are like, how can you get rid of FEMA? And it's like, well, because the states can do it better. They know the terrain. They know what to do. They know what they need. FEMA's like for the whole country. And it's like what works in, Carolina might not work in the Florida Keys, right? I mean, obviously you have different terrain. You have different situations. So you're like, come on, it makes sense. The states, give more money to the states and let them keep more of that federal funding that should go to other places. They're not, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing is just government waste. I think I was listening to the call from the Doge of Vivek and Elon, and they were talking about they already looked at like $1 trillion is already, cut, and they're looking for more to cut, and it's just like, like they were saying, how many of these government buildings there's nobody in them, but we pay for the lights, the gas, the maintenance, and all that stuff on those buildings. And they're like, and they're in Washington D.C., and it's like, hey, do you know that D.C. has a housing crisis, and we have all these government buildings that we're paying for that nobody's in them, and nothing is happening there because everybody's working remote? And it's like, well, why don't you turn them over to the private sector? The government gets some change back, and guess what? Maybe you have housing for people that need them. Maybe you don't need that big office building for any 3-letter agencies. You can make that into a park for the kids. I don't know. Make it a library. Make it a shelter. Whatever you do, it's got to be better than whatever the government's doing, just having it sit there doing nothing.
Right, and
Right?
and achieving nothing. I would say this, I'm a little surprised how engaged everyone is, because we're kind of going into what I thought was a totally taboo area, which is politics. But here's the thing. It's only about compassionate stuff, and we're kind of keeping it to like things that everyone can agree on. So if we're going to talk pragmatically and common sense, I don't have a problem with this one. And if anything, it's showing that sort of a measured conversation where like we point out like, like maybe this program's bad, but like, how to get that way at one point might have been all right. But where's it at now? Like that's a better conversation than there's so many people pounding the table all day. And
Yes.
when we do Star Trek, we don't do any politics, and on the weekday shows, entertainment is what it's about. So politics just creeps in because, like I said, politics moved upstream of culture, people.
Right.
We're there. We're there. We might have moved, or we might have moved downstream of politics. Whatever happened, happened, and we're just there. But you know what? I have so many questions for Fletcher, and I don't know. I don't want to keep you after class. So let's go to some pop culture stuff just for a minute, and then we'll go back to maybe a little more ranting about the government because people love it. I'm not looking forward to Elastic Foreskin. Are you? That trailer. We're talking Fantastic Four, folks.
I just, you know what? I'm trying to be hopeful. It was funny because we were listening to our priest. We're actually kind of in a rural area and all stuff, so we can't go to mass every day. But we do have a priest that he has like a, we do our prayers and stuff like that because we have like the 2 daily prayers that we do, and we do it online with them and stuff. So he was talking about how you have to be kind of what you say to people, and we've been trying to do it as like a good penance. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like, watch the trailer, and then I'm thinking to myself, all right, I have to be kind. And I guess for me, it's like I don't.
Aside from the aesthetic, what's the really?
Yeah, the aesthetic.
You know
I
mean?
love the aesthetic, but you already know
I
that
feel
it's
like
an
that's
alternate universe.
Hi, Miss Katonic. I also feel like it's deeply like just to distract us. Like this guy thinks he's David fucking Lynch, but in my opinion, he's only just so good. And I'll let everybody kind of see this one because I think what I can do is if I show the trailer, but I only advance it 5 seconds at a time,
Right.
it would be hard for me to get in trouble. But I don't want to get too deeply into this, so let me jump into it. Here's the Baxter Building, and the whole thing is done in WandaVision style because this is the WandaVision director. Okay, kids? That's where we're going with this. And in their world, WandaVision is that's a success in their world. And by the way, I got to catch up with these comments. Let me put a star on here. Dave, by the way, thank you for subbing my channel. And thanks to all you. I miss anyone who came in. We'll get to Brandon Sklenner in a little while too, by the way, because a lot of stuff going on with him being cast as a character I've never freaking heard of called Nova in the MCU. And I'm saying, like, Brandon, don't do it. Don't get in with Disney. No, he plays an amazing, manly Hemingway type who is really, really badass and just formidable in the movie that I watched in 1923.
Right.
And Miss Katonic is hailing you. Yeah.
Hell, bro.
So anyway, we need to take Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie and treat it like Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think I think I might have heard of someone planning to do that, but like, check it out, guys. So here's our Fantastic Four. Our aesthetic isn't too bad.
No, the aesthetics is cool. I like the
Loki did the same
Panavision
thing, though.
But if you look at it, the colors in this one actually don't look like it was done in some kind of weird machine. They look a lot.
The colors in this one
more...
don't look like they bought the set from Shape of Water.
Well, yes. So it looks like the patinas are not as rough, so it does feel like a Panavision. It's probably a Panavision filter, and some of the things are right. I had basically like a feeling with the cast in itself. I didn't enjoy the casting. I'm not a big fan of Pedro Pascal.
We'll talk about that at length.
Right, and Vanessa Kirby is a beautiful woman. She's not Sue Richards in my view because she has those protruding cheekbones that make her look a little bit like
Jessica Alba is the perfect Sue Storm. She's Sue Storm to me. Just to see her in the outfit, the only thing I'd say is the only woman you don't want to have be invisible. Like, why would you make her that character? We're changing the character. What is she called now? The visible woman, the visible girl, the visible woman. We got this one, the topless woman. It's like we got a hit. She's still gorgeous too. It's those Latino genes, right?
She did have a DNA test, and she's got no Latino DNA.
Really?
Yeah. She was so disappointed. That was hilarious.
Maybe we could have like the what do you call it, the racial draft,
the racial draft. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
we'll take Idris Elba. What do you call it? We'll take
Tiger Woods.
Well, yeah, it's like we'll take like Idris Elba. You guys take John Leguizamo. We'll take Jennifer Alba. You guys take I don't know who. The Gascon from the Amelia Paris ones.
You want to make her white? She might fit in on the North Shore of Long Island. You know what? You brought her up. Let's go there. There's this movie. Hey, Sean Carter. It's good to see you. If you want to drop by, drop by. But my friend Fletcher's here, and we're having a great talk. It's wide ranging, and I think you can be entertained. We're going to talk about a movie that no one wants to see, that somehow DEI'd its way to an Academy Award, and they were celebrating this actress. And the actress, we have certain obligations here on the on YouTube as far as how this actress wants to be addressed. To be fair, it makes it fairly easy because as far as this goes, relatively convincing. Because she's not trying to be. It's not. I mean, she's still 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. I wouldn't want to fight her. But it's got to be her, right? Or we're deep shit. I mean, no, I'm being honest here. So, guys, whatever. I apologize. That is a YouTube-fism, as I like to call them. So this actress, who is a trans woman, we're allowed to say that, and I think she started from the male side. Obviously, it's kind of can tell, is my guess. But she was being fêted, and they were teeing her up to get this Academy Award.
Oh yeah.
And the first thing I'm saying is it to live in the year of living dangerously, or to live and die in L.A., where the woman from NCIS plays a man? She plays a freaking male character, and she got an Academy Award for that because she was convincingly male. Yeah. That one was done that's from like the early 80s.
Yeah.
You're living dangerously or something. Like, it got an Academy Award to the actress. Hello to everyone, by the way.
Hey, what's up? So the Fantastic Four, going back to this one. Thank God.
Sorry, we got a little trans.
Yeah, that's all right. What do you call it? You got a little. We got our stream trans. So
I came off the street. I jumped off the StreamYard to look at the live feed, and I got. This thing, here you go. Like you said, she's not a bad looking lady.
She's
and
a great
the dress
looking
is
lady.
right on.
Right. I mean, they got the aesthetics perfectly, except them. I don't buy her as Sue. She's too. Her face is a little too harsh. She's got one of those.
Looks like he's hamming his way through everything.
Yes, and he's doing. I don't know. Did you see the accent that he does? He's trying to do some kind of like nerdy voice or something, which.
I was looking forward to a New York accent from Pedro, or is he from New York?
I was looking for a New York accent out of Ben Grimm. Where's the Yancey Street? Where's the roughness of a deep, guttural New York accent?
I know. We got a city here with like 6 different accents. The city's only 30 square miles. I mean, come on, do something with it.
Right, and it's like, I don't know, and then it has so many good parts, but then so many questionable things in my mind. I fan of the comics and fan of the movies. I didn't mind the 2 Fantastic Four movies. They were cheesy, but they weren't that bad. They could have been way better. And I even understand the other one, the Tran one, with the when they made him kind of like a kinetic Doctor Doom and stuff like that, the last one, but because they were trying to do something different, I guess. But
wait, the one with Silver Surfer in it, or the
Silver Surfer
there's
one,
another one, right? There's
right.
One
So
out
I'm
there
talking
that
about
I missed.
the 2000. I think it was 2000. Wasn't it 2015? I think it was 2015.
It was a horror story, right? And poorly regarded, and people stayed away in droves.
Yes, the one that was by the guy who did. He did a short. It was like a low budget superhero movie, and it was great. But his take on it was a different take. It's kind of like sometimes I buy like the new Spider-Man, right? The cartoon that they're doing. Once you got into it and looked at it, It was like, oh, it's not bad. It's an alternate universe. So it's like, of course they're gonna have, the lizard is a black woman and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. It's an alternate universe. It's kind of like what they did to the horrendous Trek movies that they did. I was like, I wasn't
Hey,
so.
Kronos.
Yeah, I wasn't so upset about it because it's an alternate universe. Once you do an alternate universe, I think that's what they're doing here. They're explaining it right away. You can
The
look.
thing is, whether you accept their alternate universe or not, and we're stuck with it, right? We're
Right.
stuck with this one. And the other thing is that the alternate universe is sort of it's a
gift
pretty
and a
cheap
curse.
writing hack. It's a pretty cheap writing hack. You always have to shake your head a little bit because now we have infinite resurrections. Truly, no one's
Right.
ever really gone. It's so much worse than time travel, which at least puts some limitations on the audience's like believability because time travel is such nonsense anyway. But so this is like beyond nonsense of that. It's like we don't have to explain it, and it's like the multiverse is actually like a real concept, but it's like another incredibly boring real concept, just like actual time travel. I'm gonna say here, I don't know about this Grimm, and his voice was terrible.
His voice was terrible. He's got no animatronic movements. They could have done this so much better with getting like Jim Henson people to
Yeah,
do practical effects on this because it's just the CGI on this is horrid. Because anytime he opened his mouth, it's just bad. It has no facial experience.
he turns away so fast it tells
right.
you.
But look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows, look at that. The mouth brows don't move. I mean, Ninja Turtles, the first Ninja Turtle movie had more
It's better.
animatronics on the face than this. And that
This
tells
looks
you
like
a
an
lot.
angry chicken nugget.
It's just when you have like one of those big Cheeto things, in the office and it's just like, oh, it got kind of like soaked in water or something, and that's what you get out of it. I was
And
like,
again,
man.
what you're saying here about Sue Storm, she
Yes.
is pretty. This woman is pretty,
Very
but
pretty.
she would be great at playing like your cold Upper West Side society wife of New York, rather than your warm, supportive wife that she's supposed to be, and your warm, supportive girlfriend, and your really cool sister.
Right.
This woman looks a little standoffish and a little bit like
Yes.
professorial, and
Right.
that's what they're going for because in the middle of this trailer, she takes over the narration.
No, completely. And you know what? She's not baking anybody cookies. She doesn't have that kind of.
She's never going to do that in Disney, right?
Right. But it's just her face are too harsh.
Look at that mouth movement.
I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's like a bad Muppet.
Here we go, guys. Pay attention to the mouth. I'm going to make it a little larger for our audience for a moment. This is why we risk getting in a little bit of trouble right here. But this is so heavily watermarked. It's about a day old, so maybe we'll be in a little less trouble. But this mouth, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds.
Look at that.
That is 3 seconds, well under the time. So I feel fairly good about that. We've seen, I guess, you know what? I forgot about Fireboy. We have to show everybody.
Oh my gosh!
Fireboy. At least it's a boy, right? I guess that's the
At
one
least
thing we
it's
should be
yes,
happy
but
about.
that's very low hanging fruit. The thing with Johnny Storm, that's why it was perfect in the Surfer one, the one with Alba in it, because
It wasn't that bad.
no, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't
because-
good though. I mean,
No,
let's not
hey,
get
not
ahead of
saying
ourselves.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, but compared to now, it's freaking Shakespeare.
If they weren't the Fast Four, if they weren't the Fantastic Four, there was at least a story there. Like, here's the things that I say. Like, I don't want to. I know people out there have really strong feelings about Fantastic Four, and who doesn't, right? They're OG comic book.
OG.
And these are top. This is the most top shelf thing that these people have had because what happened was they bought the Paramount people. Disney is the old Paramount world. So Paramount didn't have the top shelf superheroes. Sony did. Sony squandered that. Disney has been like slowly accruing them. And this is like the Fantastic Four are coming to Disney. We've seen it teased. We saw spaghettified Mr. Fantastic after they told us he was the smartest man in the world.
Right,
And it just couldn't have been dumber.
Yeah, that was a crime against humanity.
Now, here's the thing that gets them a pass. Wait, let's see if I can get you guys a moment of this. I don't want to, like, show you that much more video. Here you go. Like, it's like, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is fucking dumb, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, look at this cool retro futuristic
that's cool.
rocket.
Right. Yeah.
Look at the school retro. For this moment, it's cool. What happened?
Right.
He listens. He read a subreddit. I hate that it never looks like the comics. I wish the characters were like the comics. He stopped reading it. I hate it never looks like the comics. So he got that much. Here and there, it looks a lot like the comics.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of things. I mean, look at Herbie, the way that he looks. Is very comic accurate. The costumes are semi, comic accurate. They went with a
This
kind of
looks like Ninja Turtles here.
It's worse than Ninja Turtles. That's the thing, bro. It's
I know
worse.
that Ben Grimm kind of creeps around in human clothes a lot, but just like it's very Ninja Turtles, like it's New York. You know what I mean? It's rainy out, and well, of course at night and I guess. Yeah, their world is like the thing is, it just looks like Fallout. Their world seems to be very vacuum tube driven.
Yeah. It's just it is missing a little bit of that soul. Everything looks, it's like the New York, but it's one of those New York that was shot in Ontario thing.
Yeah, fuck this New York.
Right? So it just, I mean, look at the face, and it's like you could have gave him so much.
We're going to go through a whole movie of this. Or do we see everything of him in here?
And
do you hope so, right? I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Some of the things look perfect. Like when you saw the spaceship, it looked perfectly rendered. And when you see some of these stills, they're like half rendered in a sense. So, I mean, I'm sure
I hope they hit it again.
Well,
and this is Elliot Page?
Yeah, dude, it's not. I mean, Johnny Storm is handsome. He's handsome. He's dashing. That's why
he's really, he digs chicks a lot to a fault.
Right. He's a womanizer. I mean, just straight up.
God forbid that somebody loves life so much that they want to go out and meet a lot of women. I mean,
right.
I don't advise doing it irresponsibly, but hey, that's
at least they made them
put in
blonde.
this earth to love each other.
At least they made them blonde, but
they made them blonde in a way that was like. They were arguing. It's like, was the argument, do we dye his eyebrows dark or do we get a dark-haired guy and make his hair blonde? Because we want him to be like, we want to give off that like weird energy. Yeah, and I would say this whole trailer has weird energy.
It does have a little bit of a vibe, but with him, you kind of feel like
it's weird.
He's a great actor. I've seen him in other things. He obviously kind of, I think he really, probably got into the role and everything like that. But it's not. He doesn't have that dashing look. And then
the way we caught her here, she looks like one of those rubber superhero bendable things that we had when we were kids.
She had like what was the?
She's shake it off.
What was the ones that had the clothes on them? The action figures, the Funkos, not the ones. They had the Star Trek. They had the uniform ones. They did Star Trek. They did
the taller ones. Yeah, they had those when I was really young. I had those when I was a kid.
What the heck? Yeah, no, I couldn't even get the Chinese knockoffs of those. But yeah, the costume is like, it's not fitted. It's just loosey goosey, and they're trying to do a lot of things. They're like, I mean, yeah, but like, look, that effect looks pretty good.
But I'll just point out, where is assuming that's the Empire State Building? Are they on the Chrysler Building? That's the only excuse for why we can't see it. If they're not on the Chrysler Building, this is. Do you have?
Well, no, they're in
Google
the
Earth?
Baxter Building. In this one, they're in the Baxter Building.
Right. No, I know they're in the Baxter Building, but in this scene, they could have run to any given vantage point. You know what I mean?
Right.
What I'm saying is the only excuse not to see both the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building at the same time is if you're on one looking at the other.
Or you're running out of budget.
It looks like shit as far as a believable New York. Both buildings are from the 1930s.
Well, that's what I'm
Why
saying.
Is this supposed to be?
It's an alternative universe.
So we write off having to do good rendering. Why didn't the guy from Megalopolis say that? Francis Ford Coppola. Jeez. So here again, like all of a sudden, left over from Iron Man 2. That car is not too bad, but
no, that was cool.
I
think that's the one that flies.
It's so quick. Let's see.
Where is it?
If we interpret it enough, we may survive.
Is that the Chrysler Building on the left?
On the far left? No.
No, because see, there's
It's
that.
the Met. It's something close to the MetLife building.
Yeah. And what is
I'm
that?
looking at it. The top of the building's way too small. The proportions aren't right. I mean, I know what these buildings look like, people.
No,
But there's
maybe
also
they are
like
the
some sort of
Chrysler
Jetson.
building.
In the foreground, there's some. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're on the Chrysler building.
Because
in the
that
foreground, though,
weird-looking
there's a
oval
Jetsons-like building.
Maybe that's the Baxter Tower.
Well,
Maybe
one
that's
building
why.
over on the left looks like some kind of weird Hyperloop, kind of like
Yeah,
it looks like a
I think
Dyson
that's-
fan.
I think
and
that's
then
the Baxter building. If you go to the beginning, don't they show
the
the
Baxter building
looking-
does seem to have that horseshoe device on the top.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe that's what it is.
But look over on the left too. There's some sort of Jetsons kind of building. So
Right, like it's something out of Seattle.
it's I don't. It's fuck
Yeah.
them. All right.
Yeah.
Oh God! Every member berry you can pull right here, huh?
And
Look,
you know
remember
what?
when you had your superhero
You had a
costume?
super horror costume. You know what? I don't even mind that. Like I said, it's just stuff like this. I don't mind. I just they went with the full uniform and stuff instead, and I think they did it so they can spend less on CGI because then it could just be a suit. You know what I mean?
I guess we showed everybody. That's the substance of the Fantastic Four. People say that there's still reason for hope. I say it looks pretty bad. I don't know if I want to see it. But if it happens, it happens. I mean,
I'm gonna go
sometimes you
check it
sail
out.
the high seas. I may see it on the high seas, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I got you on that one. I'm still trying to talk my wife into it. She's a bit of a normie on certain things, like this, comics wise. And I don't know if I can get her to watch this one. I mean, I don't know, especially after who knows what's going to happen with Captain America, because I guess we're going to have to go that because, we got to support, black film.
That's a question I
that's-
had for you. My question for you on that one is it worth my while to go see that one for the lols and the review I'll be able to do? Do you think that's an advisable move for a channel? It's an unpopular movie that none of my subscribers like, but one of the things I've noticed is my subscribers do also enjoy seeing me in pain. Like they liked when I watched Section 31. I was screaming in pain. I did it for you guys because I love you. Don't get any hope from the trailer, says my friend Sean. You can make any movie look good in a trailer. I gotta agree. The only things I don't like here are the Thing's voice. The things I don't like. The only things I don't like here are the Thing's voice and stupid Pedro Pascal being in most everything now. Sean, if you looked at his mouth, like watch the trailer, like look at the Thing when he moves around.
Yeah.
It's worse than just his voice. Like he kind of, unless there's more to be done, and this movie's pretty close. What, like 4 more months?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, I mean, they could do something more in the rendering. Some people are
It's an
calling
emergency.
to do kind of like when all the fans were upset when the first images of Sonic came out, and they kind of shamed the studio into going back and doing a different rendering on the skin for it.
It's late in the day to do that for this.
I don't
You
know.
might be able to
It
fix
could be.
just his face,
because
though.
I mean, just because of rendering, all the stuff is already in the computer, meaning the movements and the lines and everything like that. To do like a rendering
You're
over
reskinning it. Yeah.
you're reskinning it. There's programs for that. There's old programs for that in your app.
Oh, I do enough
So-
rendering to know that shit. I mean, not that kind
Yeah.
of rendering, but when
No,
I make my
I understand.
essays.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they could do it. I think they could. Like I said, it could be some of the shots look a little crisper than other ones. So I don't know if there's still stuff rendering out there. I don't know if the critique will go out. So we'll see.
I got a paragraph long rant on this one that I'll just run through. I won't dwell on any one sentence. We could go all day on this one. We went for longer than I actually thought, but the video was fruitful as far as people wanted to see it and there was opinions, right? I'm not looking forward to elastic foreskin. Retrofuturism is just Matt Shackman's thing he uses to confuse you and dazzle you. It's his shiny object. He used it well in WandaVision, but did anyone enjoy that show? They'll
Only
never
the first
realize what you
episodes.
sacrifice. Yeah, like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The thing is,
No, number 3. My wife got so ticked off.
that's the one that loses
like-
you.
She was like, "Guy, I'm done." She was
Yeah.
almost ready to cuss on that one. And
The
we
first
don't
4 or
cut.
5 minutes are confusing, and then the next 5 minutes
Oh
are
my
outright
gosh, she
angering and
was
annoying
like,
because it's so
they
stupid.
betrayed the audience, the character. It was all done. I was like, oh my gosh, why would they? They had something going, and then
The only
it just went wild.
For 1 minute they had fun and they said, you know what, let's put Elizabeth Olsen in a cute little outfit and have her dance a little bit. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, you're looking good, Elizabeth Olsen. And the next week it's just like, what the hell? So get this. Here's the thing. Matt Shackman is just, he's a smoke and mirrors guy. And here's why I think that. He used it well in WandaVision, but no, it is a story no one enjoyed. They'll never realize what you sacrificed. Seriously? Does anybody think his experience in short form improv is going to help him out as a director? He's a director. He directs short form improv. His credits on IMDb included Children's Hospital. That prepared him for this. Why do I know what about Matt Shackman? Do you know, Fletcher, it all comes back to Star Trek. Matt Shackman was the final director attached to the scam Kelvin Star Trek movie. So, like, when it was Beyond the Scam and the writer attached to it was the Captain Marvel writer, and it was just like, no one believes this is going to happen, and the cast disavowed it at the press conference. He was that guy. So, Children's Hospital, his other show, how much of his genius is just saying, keep going, don't, and just not saying cut. And Always Sunny, about a season's worth of super talented cast and great writers. So how much of his brilliance is just pointing the camera at geniuses?
Part of the whole thing with the new modern directors, I've noticed that it does seem like there's a bit of a disconnect, where directors used to have more of a whole vision for it. You had your cameraman, your editors, and all that kind of stuff. But the director had a lot more hands-on. You could see, you could feel the movie. Oh, this is that style. This is the Coppola style. You're like, even like with Tarantino, it's more modern. You have a style, the shots, the way that they feel. A lot of the new directors, since a lot of these shots, they already have like the action shots, the CGI shots, they're done already by the time they start directing. And they're most of the time, getting it from somebody else. Now you have action directors. You have directors that, the CGI directors. This director is like it's like a ton of different directors in one movie. So that's why I think they look so frantic and so discombobulated in a sense, because you have this mishmash of directors and no vision. I mean, look at Sam Raimi. You can see a Sam Raimi movie. You can tell how it feels. If you watch that disastrous Doctor Strange, you were like, what the heck am I watching? It had
there was
Sam
a minute
Raimi
of Raimi here, there, and a minute here. Yeah, when the pizza ball guy punches himself in the face and it's a Sam Raimi actor, it's Bruce Campbell, we know. But aside from that, most of the movie was terrible.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like you have how much of this, what I'm saying, I guess, in the long way around, is that how much of this is his vision and how much of it was just given to him to do. You know what I mean?
I would have to agree with you. The thing is, I don't feel he has the resume to do this. I wouldn't put this guy into a tentpole project. And I don't think that he has the gravitas to be hired. He's another terrible hire, but just based on his resume.
But let me ask you this. Why is that happening? Why do we have all these directors that he directed a bubblegum commercial for TikTok? Let's give him $200 million.
In this case, I think it's because he's an Abrams crony and because he's in he's in the network, right? So he's probably been an executive producer on a bunch of these other things and gotten enriched like that. Because we see it takes 25 named producers and like 4 casts to make one of these shows. So he's going to give some money back to the other people, and they're all going to share it out together. And it's a Ponzi scheme of kooky, crazy, capitalistic, communist locusts.
USA.
I think they're Capucoms. They're communists. Like, their idea is that they, as a collective, take over. Like, they are the Borg, their business model, at least. Okay, so I got the channel advice from you about Captain Un-American. Let's go for it with what's her name, Sophia Garcone. She's got a longer name than that.
Oh my
Sophia. But this is it, guys. There's a movie out there called Amelia Perez. Nobody can figure out why it's nominated for an Academy Award, but it
everybody
is.
can figure out why it was for nominated.
I saw, but everyone can figure out why. No one can figure out why they were bold enough to do something because the movie's bland at best, long at best too. Because it's like the other things about it are. I think I'm seeing quite enough of the Latino depicted as the fucking heartless drug murderer.
Well,
We have to do that again.
Literally, the Mexico template is literally like if Hollywood is, well, this time France is making a because it's a French director that really has when they asked him what did you research to know about the Mexican culture, he's like, well, I didn't research nothing. And I didn't research much. It's like, it's ridiculous. And then he does all the stereotypes, right? And not I wouldn't even get into the blasphemies that are in this movie besides the dude that thinks he's a woman. But they're literally at the end of the stuff, they have like this guy pretending he's like, the Virgin Mary at the end. And it's the most insane thing. It's like, come on, son. The whole thing is
more than mildly offensive.
The whole thing is a joke. It offends everybody. Everybody in Mexico hated this movie. Everybody was talking horribly about it.
I want to make something clear about this movie. It's unavailable on the high seas.
For a reason.
Nobody wants to see it. I thought that I would watch this so I could tell you about how bad it was. But you're going to just have to take my secondhand word on it because you know what? I have a feeling we'll all be better off not seeing this. And you know what? It was terrible. What can I tell you? What I've read about it. But the thing is, in this movie, just to help everybody out, imagine Mrs. Doubtfire meets a serial killer movie.
Oh.
And
well, I guess if Mrs. Doubtfire was a drug kingpin.
Well, because he's a serial killer. And the thing is, like, the serial killer, his gambit to escape is that we're talking about Johnny. Yeah, he did look pretty gay. Yeah. But and they chose an actor who looked like Elliot Page.
Yeah, well, that's what, that's why Elliot Page is a bit of a, it's a little bit of a dig because, dude, he went from being a pretty girl to being just a completely average dude. Like, come on, man. At least, you're kind of like, there's no Blair White thing, you know what I mean? It's like, at least try harder, bro. It's like.
Kronos obviously approves of the way that Kanye's wife dresses to awards things. What?
They weren't even invited.
And they were stopped at the door. Yeah, you know what? I thought she was just so. I didn't realize, like, I don't follow his life that much because he just particularly just annoys me. And so, like, I didn't realize it was his wife. I'm like, my God, he hired some like worker, we'll just call it that, who looks like Kim Kardashian, and she's like got a dead-eyed stare where she's. But then I found out it's his wife, and she just loves walking around naked, and she walks, and she's just weird. She's has an unreadable face. No,
that's I think Maloney, I guess is her name is. Yeah, she's
Bianca
like one of this.
something.
Yeah. She's one of those like what do they call them? So these new models that are like avant-garde models, but basically they're avant-garde because they wear nothing. Yeah, he said he could see it in the left. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it, but you know what? If you say so, I'll take your word for it. We had more issues than that, and like while that scene looked good, I have 4 words for you when you see something like that in the sky. Who are you gonna call?
Los cazadores de fantasmas.
Thank you. Yes, we can do this in 2 languages.
Well, 3. You falo português.
I don't know how much more time you have. I have more questions for you. What's your situation?
Yeah, what's up? Well, you know what? Somebody did gifted you a bunch of super chats.
Did someone just super chat me?
Super memberships. What are they? I
can't even talk
right now. My dyslexia.
Holy shit! Radioactive.
Dyslexia is acting up. Super pissed. The super
I
gifted
hate when
members.
Dyslexia.
Super gifted members.
I apologize for missing the gifties because here's what happened. And you know what? That means, well, like, I think I'll check this for sure, but we're within 1 or 2 of getting yet one more emoji. I don't know. Like, don't go crazy to get me one more emoji because here's the deal. I don't know exactly like what to do with the emojis anyway. But thank you, Fletcher. See, thank you so much for making me aware of that within a couple of seconds. I'm sorry I was a couple minutes behind on that. Radioactive giving us 5 Admiral Teag memberships.
Woohoo!
And those lucky people who got memberships from my pal Radioactive are Cam's Crash Courses. Congratulations, Cam. John the Beagle Dad now has his membership. Spider Sandra Hamaslag has got a membership. I'm sorry, who else got a membership? It is a confusing interface. I am having. Thank you.
Let's see.
Here we go. File 13. File 13. It's good to see you again. Show up and say hi. We have now 100 members in the community this month. This could be a wild 4 weeks. I better make some good videos. Maybe a few people stick around. I better make them see stars. Yeah, right? Like tomorrow people are going to wake up and there's going to be a video of me dancing in my living room, just like slowly taking off my clothes.
No.
And then a link to the OF.
Man, you want a game member.
If I want to get by on my looks, I just turn on my camera. Thank you so much, Radioactive, for helping keep the channel alive. And we took a lot of the advice. Like, I guess I'll just bring people up to speed one more time. We did have to work a little bit on the amount of mods here. It was a disincentive for people to hang out. As you can see, this is our most successful stream in months. We'll figure out the modding situation later, and the people who get modded, they're gonna get oh hey, and something else happened here. They're gonna get they're gonna get member privileges, and if you're already a member, you get 1 level up. Sean says, "Hi Admiral, I sent you a set space communication regarding tonight. Would be happy to pop in at the end to premiere the thing I prepared." You don't need a pass. You can just come here. You have keys, but I'll put one in the appointed place anyway, just in case, because I think you can just enter, Sean. And I don't know though. For safety's sake, there is now a pass in the appointed place, which we call the bunker, where we have our hateful little speeches about how we could have the better channel. Let me ask you a couple more questions while my friend's getting here. We talked about the Resurrection movie, so we got that out of the way. Brandon Sklenner, I don't know anything about this Nova character. Guys in the chat, go back to that one for me. We'll double back to that one. He's in 1923. He's great. I'll ask you the Star Trek question later or some other time.
Well, Nova's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool character. He's part of the Nova Corps.
Okay.
Which we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. And we thought we would get more Nova Corps because they're basically, if you, I don't know, are you a DC or Marvel guy?
Mostly like mixed bag. I like Batman, but I also I read a lot of Marvel as well.
So the Nova Corps is basically like the Green Lanterns of Marvel.
Yeah, right. They're like a paramilitary group, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's like military space police.
No, bad news. I clicked on the art for them because I looked at them on Google. CBR published a picture today, and it looks like. I mean, I don't hate this actor, but why is he in this movie? I'm blanking on his name, so I'll show people. All right. It's a pencil drawing of him, not his face, but this would be a strong portent that he's going to be in the movie. It's not John C. McGinley. It's one of the Step Brothers. Sean, thank you so much though for the generous chat. Let me put that up on screen.
Yeah, awesome, man.
We got Radioactive. Nice. You know what? The channel members are really supportive. This is it's a pretty tight community for a 2,000 member channel, because what it is we put on a bunch of people from Yellowstone.
Right.
But not Yellowstone proper. I'm a Yellowstone lore master who doesn't know Yellowstone proper. Because Yellowstone proper set up the other shows, but it did it by mistake. What happened was Kevin Costner's character walked around telling grandpappy stories all the time, and he nailed them down in time to different things that had to happen. So, they showed a couple of flashbacks, and people were like, we love these flashbacks. We want to see these people. We want to know more about the people from 1893 that we saw. So he goes and does 1883. It's not the best history because he could have maybe driven if he waited. The train ride was so much cheaper than the wagon train ride that he took. He could have gotten where he was going on a train in 2 days without getting killed. The body count is super high. 1883 was a great show, but it was it was off by about 20 to 40 years in U.S. history, and it was off by a lot in the development of railroads and stuff like that, because he could have taken the train there. It was very good drama. It was very well acted. It wasn't as provocative. It was very satisfying to see a female character built into a character that we were rooting for and behind and enjoyed, that wasn't a girl boss.
Right.
It was beautiful and it was confident.
Well, it's Helen Mirren,
Thank
right?
you so much, Sean.
I mean,
well, no, Helen Mirren's 1923. 1883 was the first flashback. In 1883, our first flashback, we have a beautiful young, the daughter of the first people to get to Yellowstone. She's just like about that age. She's like just gotten out of like whatever their finishing school is. She's like 20.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets off the train and she's just, hey, Sean's here. Sean, welcome. We don't beam people up during the week. Pop them in. Although I guess I should remember, you can pop yourself in. So in the future, I guess I'll let you pop yourself in.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, you guys are having such a good conversation. I didn't want to derail it. And hi, Fletcher.
Hey, what's up, bro?
You got 5 minutes.
You're coming in a little loud, though.
Oh, am I? Okay.
We have had nothing but sound problems within our mutual group for a while.
Well, it's...
Okay,
you know
is this a little better there?
Nice and crispy, bro.
Nice, beautiful. Now you sound the full richness. It's like that coffee smell. Do you got a couple of minutes, or do you need to just do this? Because that's cool. Either one works.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little time.
Okay. So we were getting kind of far afoot. We were talking 1883, and we're also kind of talking around this crazy movie, because I guess the one thing we should do right now while everyone's here, because 1883 is a whole channel thing. I can talk to people about it later. With this Emilia Perez movie, it's boring, it's dumb. The people, the idea is this: a drug dealer, more like a cartel lord, like beyond Sicaria,
right.
Like we're talking like drug lord,
right.
Wants to get away from it, so he has a sex change. Now I don't know if he does this because he also wants to be a woman, but I think it's the deal is he just totally wants to get away. And I wouldn't be surprised if the meta of this movie, because it's not even available on the high seas, Sean. This movie's called Emilia Perez. The meta of it, and it's nominated for an Academy Award.
It won awards.
It's won
several awards.
Well, it won Golden Globes, right? The Academy Awards are a few more weeks.
Yeah. So my understanding, it already got the Cannes Prize, Golden Globes, European Film Awards. I mean, it's all over. It's all over the place. It was supposed to win the Oscar. You know.
Oh, guys, you're doing a great job. People are figuring it out. You know what? You get it. I'll do some re-wrenchings later. Here's the thing. The mod situation was just out of hand. Orville Nation's a great guy with great ideas, but that one was, I have to say, it only works for PJ. PJ is a special kind of YouTuber. He's a really good YouTuber, but his methods, I adopted one of them. It fizzled for me. But in this movie, we've got this drug lord, and I guess I wouldn't be surprised at the meta of the movie, because it's not available anywhere, is that by being a woman, he becomes a better person. Because the movie then forgives him for being a drug lord, and what he does is he starts dropping clues on where to find the bodies of his victims when he was a man. And then the movie just kind of moves on from the fact that he could be wrong, because now the movie views him as totally a woman. And if I have that correct. And then and then here's the best part, Sean. He pulls a real sort of all the way fully committed Mrs. Doubtfire, because now he wants to see his kids. And I guess he has a lesbian relationship from the point of view of the movie with his wife. It's crazy.
And then they all die.
But it's slow and boring, too. Oh, good.
Then they all die. And
so it has a happy ending.
Them becomes an icon, religious icon. And they have like literally altars to them. It's
of course they do.
Of course, yes. That if it's
right,
not,
the actress is Miss, the character is they them. It's so difficult to get this right. If we have this correct, the character is they them, but the actress is she. Because
okay, I have a question.
We have to do that here. We won't get kicked off of Rumble, but like we all know what that would mean. We'll get kicked off of somewhere else.
If this lead character person gets nominated for Best Actor, which one of those are they going to get?
No,
or are they going to make a third category?
He was nominated for best female performance.
Right.
Actress.
And we're talking about stuff like the only precedents are there's a movie from the 80s called To Live and Die in L.A. where a female plays a male character, but it's done convincingly and they deserve the Academy Award. And then there's Tootsie, which is like a Bill Murray, part of the movie. Part of the movie is that Bill Murray's in it to lighten up the mood.
You got like Some Like It Hot. You could have like
Some Like It Hot's another story too.
Yeah,
but
then
Tootsie
you have. I mean,
is
if
the
you really
ultimate.
wanted, the Crying Game is the one that really. I think the Crying Game is a horror story. My wife made me watch that. But
it's at least a well-made and pretty good movie because the rug pull is the first time they've done it. Right. No one had done something that radical before. I don't know anything else except Stephen Ray is a good actor. Last King of Scotland is a good actor. That weirdo from what do you call it? Stargate is also a good actor. There you go.
Remember this one?
That movie? That's Sherilyn Fenn. Isn't that Sherilyn Fenn? Oh no, is that our star? By the way, the star of Just One of the Guys is in Star Trek, Sean.
Oh
yeah, right.
Who?
He's the guy who doses himself with the super youth fluid so that he can negotiate the treaty on that planet. And he's like, time is not. Remember the people on the planet are like, bring us the Admiral. He was a piece of garbage. He did this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I'm here. And it's like, wait, I saw you yesterday and you looked like burnt bacon.
There's a great someone did a meme of that scene where that old man's moving around. They put a bunch of gas sounds in it. It's really funny.
Well, here's the thing. I really do want to get to this part of the story because it's hilarious. And it's at odds with the rest of the story. So she got in trouble. Now remember, they're feting this person and they're teeing them up for the Academy Award. They're going to give this, it's like, I would say Fletcher and I both are of the opinion that it was a done deal, correct?
Correct.
This is done. But then the comments that surface that are supposed to be embarrassing sound like some of our friends could have tweeted them. Right. They're normal.
They were
angry, but they were more or less normal.
I mean, I don't know which ones you've seen.
The ones I saw where she just she wanted basically Spain needs a wall. That was one of them, and it was fine. She felt allowed to feel the way she feels about her country. So I'm like, I don't. But the one that was it was very unfeeling was the George Floyd one.
Right,
and that's the one that's going to derail it all.
Those are the ones that are making it out, I think, to the main media because they don't probably want to show the real problematic ones.
Are there more?
Completely. There's some where she compares black people to monkeys. There's the people, yellow people, crustaceans, and that. So, I mean, the thing with this is that dude has got a huge.
Was this upload that I saw from Paulie and Cameron also on YouTube? Because I watched it on Rumble. I want to be careful with this one because, when the analogizing of people to animals, it may, I don't know if in another language you speak this language that she mangled. Is it was she turning a phrase poorly in a way that Americans wouldn't understand, or is this hateful as it sounds?
It's hateful as it sounds, and it wasn't just that. I mean, but this has been an ongoing thing. Even when he was a dude, supposedly, he was problematic. And he's one of these Spanish actors that's questionable all the time, and it's always edgy. And so when they did this whole thing where they're like, "Oh, now I'm a chick," and there's a lot of older Mexican actors who were calling him out on certain things, and he was a horror to work with. Supposedly, with a lot of Mexican actors, had a lot of superiority complex, and so there was a lot of animosity and give and take with Mexican directors, Mexican actors. So there's been going back and forth, and dude likes to mix it up. So there's a lot of slurs and insults going back and forth, and so there's history.
So he got in some pretty useless flame wars that now make him look like a piece of garbage. When he was then him, and now she looks like an asshole. And here's the thing: this was the one that I thought sounded wasn't that unreasonable. Was she scoffed at BLM?
No, yeah, that was. But Those are the
But
teen
Hollywood ain't gonna like that.
No, that's the problem. They're not bringing up the real problematic ones. They're bringing up the ones that they're problematic for their talking points.
She does not like
Black Lives Matter. She
has super strong opinions on the Middle East.
Yes,
she has super strong opinions on what's going on in Israel, and when she says it, she's like, "Go fuck yourself." People that I don't like, people that I do like, they're pretty fucking cool though.
Yeah, that's problematic now. But
and it might even be mutual contempt for everyone from there too. Like I don't know. Yeah. She just doesn't like anybody from that area. She's like, oh, go delete yourselves. It's crazy.
Yeah, but then she goes on an interview and says, you know what, I'm not racist because I work with Zoe Saldana, and so it's like, what? So you're saying I'm not racist because I have a black friend. It's like,
so Sean, guess what? You're not retarded. You work with me.
Well, I'm glad to know that. You know what's that's making me think of another? It's a great movie. Excuse me, from 2023 called Cassandro. Have you guys seen that?
Cassandra's the one with the wrestler.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's about Sal Armendariz.
Yeah, he was an actual wrestler. Mexican wrestler.
Yeah, he's a gay guy, and it was his life kind of struggling with that.
It was pretty good. Yeah, Diego Luna, Bad Bunny.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. I'd much rather watch that than this stuff we're talking about with this movie.
No, this is one of those things where it was done. I think me and Teag agree. This movie was done for the awards.
Check boxes.
Yes,
it's got
all
such
the
weird stuff
Oscar
in it. It's
bait,
also
yes.
Well, here's the thing: Oscar bait in the most facile way. I'll put it like this: it also, for no reason, is a musical.
Well, that's the point. It's that
it's interspersed here and there. It's not like fully committed, from what I understand.
Because it's supposed to be art, Teag. It's showing it's art house. That's why
Zoe Saldana is 47 years old. I don't need to see her turn and stick her ass out and talk about being oppressed when she's making millions of dollars in this movie. It was dumb.
But that's the
it wasn't artistic. It was autistic.
That's the thing. Everything.
It was crazy stuff. You know what? Yeah, so we talked about that kooky movie. Sean, what brings you here?
Oh, well, if you...
How's that for the segues? Or unless you want to take this one away. I put that in there's a private chat that stands after you tell me what brings you through. So this way, everyone has complete latitude.
Well, I came on to see if you wanted to premiere, which is kind of a channel trailer or a commercial for our Saturday show.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Let's do
and
it.
I put this together, and it's really cool. I discovered Suno that... I will.
Music app?
Yeah, so I wrote some lyrics for a little ditty called Little Alex Kurtzman. And Teag, I really think you'll enjoy this.
I heard a very funny song this morning when I woke up.
That one's private.
Oh, no.
What's great about it is because of the nature of the song. Tomorrow morning when I hear it, it'll be like it happened all over again. It's like deja vu. Oh my god! Nothing inside joke.
Yeah. It's only a few people are aware of that one. But here we go. I'm going to do a full layout here. So this one, I hope you like it. I put a lot of work into this. And
I really like it.
And here we go, guys. If anyone has headphones, turn them up.
Mute your mics, we're echoing.
Oh, yeah.
Saving Star Trek, that's all. Nothing after '05 is even worth shit. You took our dear love and you destroyed it. But we'll bring it back. It's easy to see. We just need a good crew and a good story or three. Little Alex Kurtzman, your time is done. Little Alex Kurtzman, you're so dumb. So join us now with Admiral Teag and his crew. We'll take you back to the good times that we all once knew. We're saving Star Trek each Saturday, and we'll still be here after Kurtzman goes away. Star Trek is ours, and we're taking it back from your treacherous grasp, you untalented hack. It's ours, don't you see? Or didn't you know? We're taking it back. Out the airlock you go.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Nice editing job.
Oh man, that's probably the best editing
How many
I've ever
hundreds
done.
of cuts? You know what I think is great is we could take just any part of that and just put it to the First Contact theme for all Star Trek. Just,
Yeah.
it's so fucking great. Great job, thank you. Wow.
You're welcome, man.
That'll go great with Hoshi.
Hopefully the fans will like it.
I know they will. It's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, Radioactive. Yeah, I did that. I wrote the lyrics to that. Sorry, I highlighted something there. I wrote the lyrics, but the AI did the music and the singing and all that. And I spent about 12 hours downloading clips and editing them to get the explosions to hit the drum cymbals and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, the drums are perfect.
Yeah,
I noticed that. Yeah, I did a great job.
Oh, thanks. My favorite part is like the mosh pit part is just Kirk doing all the double drop kicks.
Yeah. Hey, Bless Gaggle. That is true. It was good stuff.
And then
it was a
the
great
breaking of the guitar at the end.
And you went with like every single Star Trek battle you could find. There was every battle. I saw Wolf 359. I saw a couple of Deep Space Nine battles, if I'm not incorrect. Saw a lot of Galaxy class starships going at it. Fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
Did you use Sonos?
Suno, yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Suno, yeah. That's the one I did for the one that we were talking about that's we can't play.
For your ears only.
And all of a sudden, West might remember you. West was here when last we had Fletcher. Fletcher, I don't think has been here since 500 sub celebration.
I don't think so. I've been traveling a lot, so.
Were you at the insane 500 sub celebration where I got punked and it was actually like dropped down to like 275 subs again, or were you at the one where it stayed? You know what? At this point, yeah, you might as well laugh it off. It was pretty hilarious. It happens. I'm not new here anymore. I can't pretend that anything that shocks me. Like, you get punked. One is an AdSense punking to get between you and YouTube and make it look like, you're maybe a weirdo. And that's when your monetization thing stays like amber for days until they figure out the real view count. And we've all been there. I would, or, a lot of us have been there. But thank you, Sean, for that. That's great.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was
We're
pretty
just-
cool.
We were just talking about this new character they're going to destroy, this crazy woman, and I guess we can move on from that one. We've heard it all. Like, shit, wow, that woman is just like a cornucopia of insane stories, like ranging from, well, that sounds relatively reasonable, to I could understand why she feels that way about her own country, to where the hell are you coming from with that lady? All of them in like one, just a shotgun of statements, all of them pretty weirdly delivered, and a lot of them just off the wall. So I guess the next thing I would just say is a yes or no, but I'll let you go as long as you want on this one, guys. And Fletcher, of course, gets the first answer. First question, I guess, would be, before we address this one, is I'll ask the question, and I'll ask the question to be considered first. Consider this one. Could we save the Snow White movie if we switch roles? Right? Is there still time to go back and have Gal Gadot be Snow White and have Rachel Zegler be the evil queen? Because I'm thinking people would buy it now.
But I thought that's what they were going for when they made her like Che Guevara with her little, march up the steps and with the people's like, let my people go, So I think that's the true editing trick, that you didn't know the twist is that Snow White was the villain all along.
And here's the thing. I don't know if Paul has wondered this out well as well, because I have a couple of times here. Every time we see people from these Disney movies, the female cast members are all militantly feminist out of nowhere and kind of mean-spirited about it, like the most bitter form of feminism, like AKA Brie Larson. And a lot of times they're having breakdowns about how horrible it was to have to deal with these fans. And we saw, like, what was Wicked Disney, right? With Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo just weeping about people defacing like Subway posters. Get over it, lady. I haven't seen that Wicked poster since the 80s. You know what kind of stuff I've seen that poster doing?
Yeah, it's very popular. So,
I saw a meme. Someone did like a video the other day, and it was like a cartoon of mocking this new thing that's coming out, and it showed the queen asking, "Am I the fairest one of all?" And the mirror says, "Yes, you are the most beautiful, but you're not the most evil." So. And she looked shocked, like, "Oh."
Did they show a picture of a certain Bavarian ruler after that, or Elon Musk?
Fletcher, before I forget, I have a question for you.
Right,
are you in LA with Polly?
No, I travel mostly, so I do a lot of traveling around. So most of the time I'm not even where I live. So
okay.
No.
Fletcher Williams is in an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location on Earth.
On Earth.
Currently in the cold, mist-wet area.
Oh, geez. That might mean you're around here. But here's the question for you that I really want to know, and both people can react to this one. Rachel Zegler has said, and I've seen this one, and it leaves me baffled, and I found it hateful. I'm a light-skinned Latino, which means I have a lot of responsibility. You saw me, like... do I have more responsibility? Like, what am I getting wrong here, Fletch? Help me out.
I think it's kind of, it's very quaint to now, should I say it? That, see, now I promised I was going to be gracious. She has this delusion to where she has to do the current thing where everybody has to apologize based on the skin color they supposedly have.
I got news for you, baby. You have nothing to apologize for if you think that you're so there's a reason why people are shocked you're Snow White. Why are you apologizing for this? Where's your brain?
Well, she's if you consider like on the spectrum, she would be considered blanca or güera for wherever she would be, meaning she's lighter of skin.
Isn't she from where I'm from? Isn't she in New York? York Rican?
No, she's worse. She's from Jersey.
She's half Puerto Rican, right? Like
Colombian.
Colombian. Okay, isn't like her mother or father Caucasian?
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's like you have all these people when their father or mother's Caucasian, they never honor the the person who's Caucasian or whatever it is. I
Nope.
mean, I have like a weird thing with the whole race thing. It's like because most of the time back in the days it was just okay, you were Colombian, you were because even like in the States, people are like, oh, what are you? Nobody would say white. It would be like I'm German, I'm Irish, because that was the thing. And if it's problematic with being Irish, or like you were either Catholic or Protestant, you know what I mean? So it was like it was a more civilized time when this whole like white thing and became a thing. It was just now it creates kind of like a division thing where like, oh, this white guy, the white woman, well, I'm a black guy, I'm a gay. It's like, well, back in the days we were just we were either what our religion was or where our family come from. And if you're like third generation or fourth generation in the United States, come on, man, you're just American.
Yeah.
But that's not cool,
My wife is 100% Mexican and is lighter than Rachel Ziegler is.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
there's blonde,
That's
blue
why
eyes.
I just
and
I
she
see
has
this
to deal
lady
with
saying this stuff, and I'm just like, like first of all, like it's the queen who has the weird mirror. Like, what's going on with you?
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of people from different countries hate each other. Like it's not like one group of people that are Spanish.
Oh no, we
speaking,
covered
like,
that. Fletcher
did
and I
you?
are gonna fight it out after the. Well, first we're gonna have a Latino skills competition. Machete wielding versus pickpocketing because I'm Cuban, so I have to do the pickpocketing. And the machete stuff, that's Fletcher's deal.
Yeah,
Well,
completely.
I'll put
Yeah,
my
to-
wice up with the cooking because you saw the tacos she
I
made,
saw
man.
that
Oh
food.
my god!
I'm walking to Texas.
Nice. Well, see, West Cagle is right. Figure she'd be from New Jersey. Jersey sucks. I know. I lived here for 56 years.
Can you find good tacos out there?
In Jersey?
Yeah.
I don't know. Last time I've been in Jersey is like I think like 10 years ago. I would say I haven't been in
Oh,
Jersey
my.
in the longest time. But it's all right. Tacos, you can make tacos at home. That's what my family's
Yeah.
like. You get some good meat, you season it up. They got Goya everywhere.
Well, that's the thing here. You can't find a good taco in Texas. I'm sorry.
What?
I like it here,
No,
but
blasphemy, bro. Blasphemy.
I can.
It's
Well, maybe,
Tex-Mex.
oh yeah, that's not even a taco. That's just meat with queso on it.
Well, it's like a different take on it because don't forget Texas was part of Mexico, but it was more like the how would I say? You had the mix of the French, Spanish at the time, and the cowboys. So you do have more the bean side of the taco.
Yeah.
So the tacos are a little bit different. Well, even in Mexico, if you have tacos in Mexico, I don't know where your wife is from, but she could probably attest to this. Every region has different taco
Oh yeah,
styles.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
there's a
the
great Netflix
thickness-
series
Yeah.
about that.
The Colombian taco stand that I go to is the best taco I've ever had in my life. I'm sorry, they make a great taco. They might be especially
there you go.
talented.
Those are the tacos she made the other day.
Oh, that's good. She fried up the tortilla.
Yep. Yep.
Do you have it open in a different one? Oh, there. I was
Oh.
echoing for a second.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was me leaving two browsers open. I was like,
That
no,
was
I
you
didn't do anything
leaving
wrong.
two browsers.
It actually wasn't me. I couldn't find the other.
Wasn't
That's
you?
weird.
Are you Shaggy in this scenario?
I am actually Shaggy in this scenario. I'm trying to remember this actor's name that they're throwing into this NovaCorp thing that I
Why don't
guess
you,
is going to be
like,
part
look
of
up
Brandon
Nova?
Sklener's word. No, I'm just giving the article, but I mean they seem fairly cool. But the guy from 1923, he has played tough, badass characters of a Hemingway type. And in 1923, Brandon Sklener's acting holds up. One, because he's got the nude scenes with the hot chick, but also the thing that I liked about his character was, even though he didn't act with any of the other actors, his storyline takes place in another place. He's the only one of the family who's in Europe and Africa. He's trying to make his way home. his character's like super Hemingway like, and with nobody having any like ability to help him out. Like he can't have a scene with Harrison Ford. He can't have a
Right.
scene with Helen Mirren, Timothy Dalton, Jerome Flynn. He's alone. He's carrying this and he's fine. And he has what I would say was the greatest fight scene I've seen on TV in the last 3 years. There's a fight that happens on a cruise ship. And what happens is it doesn't really go back and forth. One guy's a World War One veteran, and the other guy's a fencer, and he just like, and he's a dick too. He like the guy like basically he sees Brandon Sklenar as having stolen his fiance. The thing is, she just didn't want to be with the guy, and so he's wasted, and he wants to fight him. And the fight just shows everything. Like he fights like he's British, like he's fighting for no reason, standing on ceremony. He's having a fit. He wants to fight with swords. Brandon Sklenar just really practical. He's the American. He wraps a handkerchief around his hand. He grabs a sword out of the guy's hand. He punches him in the face like 15 times, lays him out on the deck, and he tries to end it. He walks away. The guy comes running at him with a gun. Big mistake. It's a ranged weapon, people. And as he gets near Brandon Sklenar grabs the guy, just whips him over the side of this fucking ship, and we see him take the 10-story drop. And it's, ah! And it's just like, what could he do? It was like, but the fight showed so much about each character, and like he was resourceful, and he kept trying to back off, and then like he only did it because he was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" This guy just charged him with a gun.
So it was exciting, and you can't see him be part of a military space police, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Well, that's fair.
I can see him being part of a military space police, but I mean, isn't this not an Disney Plus TV show? So
Who
when a
knows? But
strong
that's the
woman
thing.
it's Disney Plus.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
I mean, look, is this regular Disney, or is this Daredevil Born Again Disney, which they're promising to be hardcore and rated R? So
We've heard that promise before, and these are they're the thing is, I hope you're right. We want it to be better. We like these characters, right? But at the same time, we've heard it a couple of times, and we've got the WandaVision guy who is suspect at best on the one project, and you know.
No, I mean, like I said, I mean, part of all this is hope, right? But that's being a nerd on the get-go. You know, you're hoping that they made a movie about your comic character or video game character. You're like, oh, I hope they make a comic book out of this novel or anything. You know, you always have hope as a nerd because you're like, I hope they make something good. I hope this new book comes out. Sure, you got people, Game of Thrones people, still wishing that dude will actually finish the book. You know, and so it's like
not happening.
nerds. I know it's not, but it's like, I mean, nerds got to cling to hope, and so I think it's the nerd sphere is both the most cynical and hopeful sphere I think there is, because
No, I'm a New York Jets fan.
so yeah, but that just gives you the whole there's the cynicism involved with history, but you still go to the
Except
game, right?
we never had a moment of triumph in my freaking life.
It's still one day, bro.
Thank God I like the Yankees. That's all I can say. It gives me a little bit of, you know what? I don't know. You want me to throw one more question out there for you, and then we'll talk about the topic at heart, or do you want to go with that one now? It's up to you. I don't know how much time you have. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. I think we're doing. Yeah, so I got a little bit more time. What do you want to go with? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we've been hearing that the woke is almost over. The first mention was like the Bond movie wasn't as bad as it could have been. Then people were like, "That's remarkable, right there." And now Spider-Man: No Way Home was another thing where they're like, "This movie was pretty bad, but wasn't so great."
Right.
But the woke stuff, it was like a lot less of it, like markedly less. Like they seem to have taken a lesson from a couple of things that happened. It's like this is the first notable reaction.
Right.
And you know, from Sony, they crap out Madam Web next. But I mean, you know,
Well, Madam Web was an interesting concept, at least, right? They had an idea. It was poorly executed, like most of their films, but their unusual thinking
underthought as
behind
well.
it.
Yeah.
The problem with I mean, I guess if we're going on a tangent on this one real quick, I think the only problem with the Sony movies is that they're too expensive. All right. If you have a Hallmark budget on Madam Web makes money, right? And you put the girls in the costume.
Yeah, and you keep
and
Sydney
you give them
Sweeney, Sydney
superpowers.
Sweeney.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But she had to fight to be on the costume to begin with. So you're talking about but those are small tweaks. But it can't be over 100 million, right? So I think that's the problem. A lot of these movies they have to have a sensible budget. But yeah, I can see what a lot of people have been saying that. Like to go with your question, I guess partly. What I think you weren't finished, so I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm just do we think that there's going to be a moment where all of a sudden we'll hit like 51% acceptable movies where we're not walking out of there like after that woke part it was okay, or like is it going to be like we'll have a front loaded woke moment before you're too angry to walk out while you've just spent your money, and then the movie will calm down and be normal? Like what do you think is going to be in the next 3 or 4 years as far as entertainment's approach to this woke thing?
My understanding is that it was funny because I think somebody was talking in the chat earlier about Navy ships, and it's like one of those Navy ships where they're like to steer it takes a while, right? It's when you watch some of those nautical collisions, you're like, how the heck can they not turn? And it's like it takes a long time to steer a long ship. So I think Hollywood is like that. It's a big ship that's lumbering. And it become the fall of it came about, I think, when it became corporatized, and now it has to check boxes. Along with the new Doge movement, you can say that maybe people are saying, "Hey, we can do this a little bit leaner," like the horror movies. That they make money because they have sensible budgets. So I do think that maybe we're going to start being a little bit more sensible. But right now, the next couple of years, I don't think so, because there's still so many movies in the chamber that are over a few, a few hundred millions, which is insane for something that's niche,
I
right?
want to thank Wes Cagle real quick. I'll circle back to this in a second to answer your question. I think that maybe what happened with that Spider-Man turn off the dark play on Broadway happens to a lot of these movies.
Right.
I saw an interview with Bono, and like people got killed in this play.
Right.
It was so over the top. They're trying to have us. Do you remember that story, Sean?
Yeah.
They tried to put a Spider-Man play on Broadway, and what happened was the slightest miscalculation was getting people killed. Like they were like bungee cording Spider-Man into like brick walls in front of like a packed house, and like Spider-Man sliding down the wall like a Warner Brothers cartoon, except someone's lost their life. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, no, it couldn't be worse. And as we sit there drinking this in, it's like Bono has given an interview where he said like, we were going to do it for $40 million, but there's no appetite for a $40 million Spider-Man. So we made it a $200 million Spider-Man. I'm like, you should have just walked away. Like, you only had $5 million bucks in when you found that out. Now you're out all of it. But
I
want to thank West.
I hope Sean Landis wasn't the director of that.
No.
The play, yeah, right. Everyone kept their head, but no, someone really did lose the ability. They were paralyzed from it.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. But see, we're going along the lines with what your original question is: can they continue to do this? And that's my answer: not at that budget.
Right.
Because we're having a lack of talent in Hollywood, not a lack of anything else. The problem is that you have John Waters, who would be considered extremely woke, I guess, but he can put out an artistic movie for cheap.
John Waters, the guy from Pink Flamingos?
Yeah. So
he's not woke. He's just a crass, crazy guy who's gay and nuts.
But what I'm saying is that in my conservative circles, right? Anything that's, gay or anything like that, that to us is not something that's, for family and stuff like that, right?
No, it's not for family.
Right. I got family members who don't watch rated R movies, so it's like, we're on the real extreme here. I'm in the extreme. But what I'm saying is that he's an artist. He's able to put out a product. If you give somebody that has that kind of talent, Spider-Man Broadway that's talented in Broadway, who can make a play for $1,000 or a black box theater production for less than that, using only students, you can do the same thing. You can make it inspiring. You can do whatever you like with just practical things. It doesn't have to be what they thought it needed to be, which is beyond the Lion King, right? But that's the
I
problem.
was told it
you
was
don't
a
have art.
breathtaking spectacle that had 5 air dancing Spider-Men hanging from the ceiling at once, and I'm
But
like,
that's the problem.
yeah. And then what happened was after about 5 performances, people were getting hurt all the time, and then someone like fell like almost into the audience. I think the guy lands in the aisle,
But
and
how
then
much-
the FDNY walked in, shut it down, and said, "This is crazy." And when the backers were like, this is $1 billion play or a $248 million play, what they said was, Broadway is no place for live experimentation. You have to practice for 2 months before we'll even look at you before you can reopen. And
It's
just
sort of
like,
something
we'll
they
fold
should
our
do in
cards and
Cirque
go
du
home.
Soleil or something
Well,
like
I
that.
was just gonna say that
Yeah.
if Cirque du Soleil can do it, then
Or
you
the
can
beginning
do it
of a
too.
Bond movie.
But it doesn't even
Aerial
matter. But what
dancing.
I'm saying is that you could have done the same thing with like paper mache Spider-Mans controlled with a backlight or something like that. You could do it in just visual effects. You can do all kinds of things for those kind of scenes if you have a story that's compelling, engaging, and fun. But you can't do that if you don't have artists at the helm. And I think that's the problem with Hollywood right now. You don't have artists at the helm. You have people that are cast into positions instead of actually having the talent to do those positions. I mean, they
Yeah.
could have grown to great directors or whatever, but like you were mentioning, this one fellow that's doing even Fantastic Four, like, what did he do before this? You have to. It used to be like a thing where kids used to either go to college for it or they would just do tons of home movies themselves. They would edit themselves. They would do their own special effects and all that kind of stuff. And then they would get a gig, finally getting something or get some money together to put a film together. And then that would walk into maybe getting some more money and making a bigger film together. I mean, that's what it used to be. I mean, we watched Star Wars. That was considered an indie project. So what you're seeing is
which
that
is why he was able to retain all those merchandising rights.
Correct. He
Wait,
was
give me a
smart with it.
second here. I want to do this the right way. It's been a minute or two. Wes Cagle gifted a membership, and I just want to say, Wes, I can't thank you enough because you know what? You have and people thank Wes. Come on, he's one of us. You got to thank Wes. This wrench thing, it's for real. I don't see anyone thanking Wes. Please help me out. Help me help you. So Wes, thank you so much. Thank you for the membership gifting, and thank you for being a member to the community. It's really amazing. Thank you for your donation. See, JT gets it. JT gets it.
You don't
Listen,
need to thank
you
Wes
so
Cagle.
much.
Just play him a James Taylor song. That's thanks enough. That's an
Ooh,
inside
I
joke.
seen fire and I seen rain. You know what? James Taylor is like, he has some good songs. He's a really bitter, crazy guy. They say that maybe he's really dedicated, but he did get to be married to Carly Simon for a while. So, like, I'll break a few acoustic guitars and scream and yell at Martha's Vineyard at my $1 million mansion, like, while I say, hey, I'm going to go buy Grey Gardens. Oh, my God, Wes Cagle. Wes Cagle not only has gifted us memberships, but we now have a $2 super chat. And is this of the Pear family? This super chat. The stickers don't come across. I don't know if I don't see the
it's
sticker.
I think it's a Shiba dog saying like #1 maybe. I think it's like a
Don't-
Shiba
it
dog.
is. It's yeah.
Yes,
We're number.
that's what
We
it
are
says.
number one.
you
We're
go.
number one. We're number one. You know what, guys? Everybody who's a member of the channel, spam some of those emojis now. Spam them. Spam them. I want to see T-Moshi. I want to see DePaul. I want to see Sydney Sweeney. I want to see them all. And also, here's one for our discussion. Earth first, everybody. Earth first, right? We've been political enough today. You know what? And
Radioactive
oh
just-
wow, radioactive!
Keeping the
Holy
party
smoke!
going.
When is Fletcher Williams? I Suck at Games coming back on the Teague show?
Nice.
You know what? It sounds like people like you so much that you were just renewed already. Man, wow! That's the first. You know what? Fletcher is renewed for. Well, here's the thing. I had him at 500. We're now at 2100. So that means at 3700.
We need
right?
more subscribers.
No.
That's nice.
I can't believe
You say you were
Cuban.
Cuban, not Jewish, bro. What's going
Hey,
on
you
here?
know what? Actually,
Get
I
those
am
shekels,
the
bro. No
Elizabeth.
shame. No shame.
I am the
No
Elizabeth
shame.
Warren of Jewish people.
There you
That
go.
would be. He would be a Jubin.
That Jubin.
Yeah,
He's got his bagel and lox but he's got a little sofrito and jamon iberico on it, right?
oh my God! Look what we have. JT Kirk
dude,
has put
JT
me in the
Kirk,
corner.
super
At
sticker, bro. Nice.
Fletcher Williams is coming back as soon as I can get him. This was one of the easiest bookings. I want to thank you for being just like, yeah, I could be there tomorrow, and no problem. Like every other guest is like, I'm going to cancel twice.
My wife, bro. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like I said, we travel a lot, so most of the time I'm like, I don't even know where we're going next. But that's a super pair.
I have to sing the super pair song, but I came up with my own super pair song. And Sean, but pretty good.
It
for
was
coming
great.
Up with it on the
Do you
spot.
remember it?
I don't remember it, but today I will listen to it again and get it right, and I'll decide which one's better. So today I wrote a pair song that's pretty close, and it's just like believe it or not, it's a flying pair. I never thought someone would give one to me. Flying away like a piece of fruit with a cape. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just Teag.
That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
The cat skills,
JT Kirk, thank you, my friend. I can't wait to get together with everybody. One of the things that's like the biggest part of my week that I have is I spend a little time every day getting ready for the that week's Star Trek show, whether it be making a new introduction. Some weeks we have an introduction that's specific to the episode. We have Hoshi saying hi to people. We got that. Oh my God, Wes Cagle.
Wes Cagle's representing and keeping it
What's
real.
going on? I have not been asking for money. It works good.
You know you got to highlight it. There you go.
I do. Nice. I sang the song for this one. I got to come up with like a $20. What song can I? What's a $20 song?
Let's see. Well, what is it to begin with? It's a. I think it's a Shiba dog with a number 1, but it's dressed like a shogun. So that could be like a, one of those like a Squid Game type, like you got to come up with a $20 Shiba dog in a Shogun costume song, or that's it for you. What would it be? Like I don't know, a Shiba and a Shogun. Well, Teague, you got to earn your money now. So
I muted myself so I could tune my guitar because I have an idea.
Oh no. Here we go.
This way I don't have to sing, right?
No, that's fine.
I'll sing for 10, for 20. I'll try. I've been getting to play yeah, right? Well, I sing for my supper.
You're a 20 troubadour. You throw a 20, he'll bring out the loot.
See if I can do it right.
She been the Shogun.
Oh well, whatever. Close enough.
There you go.
I did my best. I got distracted.
You got to do it at the end. You're like, she been the Shogun number 1. Yeah, we're here all week.
That was King of the Hill. Can I remember the end? Wait. Let's see.
You got to tune the guitar first.
It's pretty tuned. It's just me bending the strings out of tune.
Nice.
Like it. See, I'm Spanish enough. I can play the guitar. There was something really weird about hearing like flamenco music played by a British guy in a cab in Barcelona.
I think that goes along the way because my wife and her friend, they went to what was it? It was a R&B singer, and he has this phase where he started going into flamenco music, and like everybody was there to hear like his R&B music, and then he started going into like his flamenco phase, and everybody was looking at each other like, "What the heck is going on?"
Flamenco's not my thing as far as like I like believe it or not, like a guy who only found out he was Latino in his like 40s. Like my thing is like I was always in awe of the flamenco guitar playing though.
There you go.
Like that classical Spanish guitar playing. It's beyond my abilities, first of all. But you know, I play guitar like the Italian Irish guy that I always thought myself to be. But you know what?
You're a drinking guitarist.
That's you know what? Like I'm gonna drink on the Super Bowl, and for the fun of it, I asked my mother permission. I said,
Nice.
"Listen, I don't want to let you down, but I'm gonna be I kind of have a thing that triggers me to drink, and the last two times I've drank is for the same reason." She's like, "I don't like the sound of this at all. What is it?" I'm like, "Back in October, there was a Jet game that was only on Monday Night Football, and I went out and I had like 3 drinks, and I'm gonna drink again on the Super Bowl." And she's like, "Oh God, what are you bothering me with this for? You're fine." She's just like hung up the phone. She's like, my mother's been getting trolled by me for a long time. But yeah, now I'm gonna have a couple of beers when I call the Super Bowl with Outlaw Bill, and then we'll have time to do all sorts of other stuff on the channel. But you know what? Did we cover your podcast well enough, or do you want to revisit that for a minute? We can talk about it again.
Are we talking about to me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, like what you do.
Well, I
as
don't know.
far
You
as-
brought up
'cause
this,
we-
and I'm like, dang, Malagueña is a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's
Okay, let's
you know
do it.
to be able to play that would be amazing. And
I
Roy
think
Clark
I
was
know the one
amazing.
they're talking about, but is that the one that he blasts off in his Odd Couple appearance, where he's just doing every last single thing on the guitar, or is this one more traditional? Because
Sure
I've
no
seen
said.
him do like you call it the Interflex. I love that one, by the way. Like I said, the gift of dyslexia, but
Right.
that guy was a great guitar player. And I think sometimes he would whip out a banjo too. He was a really good guitar player, though. That is for
It was
sure.
kind of like Charo, Charo, who just
She
recently
could
had a
actually
birthday.
play the guitar.
She was amazing. So
She was
yeah.
able to sing and deliver really well, and somehow play the guitar with those super long fingernails.
Yep, and
How did
very
she do it?
tight dress so she could breathe.
Oh, I loved seeing Charo on TV when I was a little kid. It's like, Mom, like, why is Merv Griffin so weird? Why does his wife seem so safe? It's like, shut up. It's like, Mom, I like Charo. And she's, well, you're not like Merv. What do you mean, Mom? Don't worry about it.
It's funny because all these old shows, the only reason I know them, it's like I wasn't alive when they happened. But the thing is, we used to, in South America, we would get American television, but it was like later in time, right? So I would watch, like my wife sometimes goes, "How do you know that show? We weren't even alive." And it's like, because we would get the hand-me-downs, right? But it was like Fred Flintstone and, the, what was it, the Rifleman and Steve Austin all had the same dubbed voice. But and we would run the gambit with it. But I thought it was, amusing that to watch all these older shows because we would get them on the cheap. So
I don't know about Sean. He might have gotten the first wave of when they realized they had to make new children's programming. My generation and Doomcock, I think, is probably about the same age, and like Nerdrotic. We had cartoons that they wouldn't really want kids to watch ever again.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Warner Brothers cartoons that were absolutely freaking great. Disney cartoons that were still good, and the newer ones were wholesome, and like you could enjoy them even as like a younger adult, because like DuckTales was kind of fun and funny, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I
Right.
wouldn't scoff at it and turn it off, And then we found out Neon from Clownfish TV was deeply involved in that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. And a lot of
I
those.
think it was the
cartoons were
comic
pretty
book,
good.
not the animation, though.
Yeah, I know that.
But he might have been story group for the cartoon.
It could be. I mean, it's very talented gentleman, and even
All the
his wife
DuckTales
also.
stuff was great.
Yeah, all that stuff is great. I mean, and I know in South America we used to get a lot of Japanese and some French cartoons also.
Well,
So, I mean, we had like Speed Racer, Astro Boy. We had the Macross. We had chick stuff like Heidi and and things like that were crossover from German literature into Japanese animation for some reason, because they share the misery of being miserable, which it goes great with Argentinian culture because all their movies are miserable in Argentina. So you do have a lot of that crossover thing. So yeah.
We
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
should
He
quickly
passed
mark
away.
that we lost He-Man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't
Right,
realize
yeah.
that he had another notable role that like you would never guess. He was Archie.
Yes, he was not only Archie, but he also played a lot of different characters in the He-Man cartoon. You know, it wasn't
I
just
think he was.
He-Man. He
He
did.
might have been like Man at
Yeah,
Arms too, right?
yeah. He was like Man at Arms. He was what it was the one with the ram. Oh, I forgot his name. I'm
Oh
blanking on
yeah,
it.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But
Buckethead guy, yeah.
yeah, and he played
Star
like
Blazers was great.
I think one of the dragons he played. So
Maybe that should be the other Super Sticker song is Star Blazers. I think I can still
yeah,
sing
because
that
it
one.
was John Irwin, right?
Which
Yeah.
one, Star Blazers or wait?
No, no,
John,
no. The one who passed away, who was the voice of He-Man.
Oh, that's the voice actor. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like wait
he
a
was
minute.
also
I
in
got my
Family
wires
Guy, I
crossed
guess,
there.
yeah. He was
Yeah,
in a lot of
you know,
things.
R.I.P. But I think he was like 88. I mean, I don't want to say like
That's young nowadays, though.
yeah, you want him to like you want everyone to loop 90. But with my mom being like in mid 80s, I'm feeling like Mom, you got like 15 years left.
Yeah.
You got to plan these things out.
Oh, Star Blazers. I love Star Blazers.
Ram Man.
Ram
Star
Man, he
Blazers-
was Ram Man. That's what it was. Star Blazing
Thank
was
you.
so badass, you know?
Starblaze was badass. I liked it when it was reconstructed back into another movie, like a full movie.
Yeah.
And also, Resolute Germ had a copy of it that was slightly different, where it was, while most of the same, it had been really reworked, and the art looked freaking great. It looked freaking great. Yeah. Hurry, Star Force. The Earth has only 270
Yeah.
days left. Which got ripped off by the Babylon 5 people. They did that stuff at the end.
Oh,
with
well,
the
you know,
Crusade
Babylon
show.
5 did borrow from a lot of, if we're gracious, they borrowed from a lot of different, you know,
Well, Star
genres,
Trek steals
but-
from Star Blazers too, because Star
Well,
Trek does
that's-
the whole the Earth has 1 year with the Zindi timeline thing.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, the more modern Trek you go, the more they kind of used a little bit of different sci-fi writers and other things. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. Oh man, yeah, I
The thing
love
is,
Yamamoto.
J. Michael Straczynski was good enough to give it a pretty good story. The thing is, like, I like Gary Cole, but he's not a starship captain. Well, not bad. He's Gary Cole.
I just think that they, if you want to kind of do something, I guess I would ask you this thing: what would you do for Star Trek to? I know what I would do, which is bring it back to very science fiction writers, like the best that I can find. You need good scripts, and bring it back to where it was almost black box theater style of the original Star Trek. It wasn't so heavy reliant on this makeup or anything like that. The stories were the king.
I've got a pretty good idea for that one. I think I could spitball it in about a minute. Ready?
Ready.
We have a sector. It's kind of isolated. We have a sector commander. We don't have to go up any higher than that. He gets some orders from Starfleet, but we don't see him. We don't see Earth, right? We're at the edge of the Federation. There's nothing out there that we know of. There's no Dominion. There's no Klingons. The Klingons might be around, but it's not their territory. You know what I mean? We can interact with Klingons and Romulans. They'll look like we expect them to. They'll act like we expect them to. Everyone will be in character, but what we'll do is we'll have a ship. We'll have a point of view ship, and we'll take Gene Roddenberry's name. We'll make it the USS Roosevelt or the USS Yorktown, one or the other. One of the other names that he was considering. We'll make it the Yorktown, and we'll have it out there, and it'll be like a ship in an era that seems to be a little bit beyond all good things, and therefore sidestepping all the TNG movies. We'll give a star date that makes it clear we've passed the TNG movies, which I think is a good idea. But make it 10 years, something like that. And what I want in my Star Trek movie to really keep people thinking is We'll never go back to Earth. We won't consult with anything. We can let them work out their rights, and we can have just a few ships in a far-flung part of the galaxy where there's, just so much Federation, and just have a traditional Star Trek show where we go to planets where we have our one point of view crew with one great captain and a few great characters. And if one doesn't work, we Tasha Yar 'em.
Yep, there you go. And
Armis is still out there.
But that's what that's what I'm saying. When you ask how can this be fixed, I think that's the answer.
And don't talk to any other. Don't send it up the food chain to more Starfleet, and don't connect to other stories until things calm down. Just be like, I want my own hived off, please, no cross.
Yeah.
Just and make it clear that you don't know. You're doing your own story, and whoever wins wins. But enjoy this now, because if I don't like the way the wind's blowing, we'll blow everybody up.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
We'll drop
not
'em into a
hard to
time
bring
hole.
it back. It's not hard. Fletcher, we've
10
had
episode.
conversations like this on our Saturday show, and Teague's right, and it's even in the song I put out. It's you just need a cool ship, a good crew, and some good stories, and that's really it. And it just needs to be episodic. You don't have to have some big overarching drama. Maybe a couple 2-parters here and there. Maybe you do maybe have some
Don't botch
continuity.
morality left and right.
Right.
Understand that
you make
Starfleet
sure
people who will die to do the right thing. One guy will die to save them all, and the rest of them will die to save that guy. It goes both ways. They don't care. The right thing's the right thing. Starfleet, they're not superheroes, but they are Chads.
Yeah, and I do think that the one thing that's always missing from this modern Trek, in my opinion, again, going back to, I forgot, I'm sorry, who mentioned Navy things, but it's the military-esque chain of command of Star Trek that people didn't realize was there. Until it was not there, and they were like, "What's going on? Why is it so different?" And it's like, well, you took the military aspect of Starfleet. It's Starfleet. It's even the name sounds like it's a regal thing, like it's something that's it's like a royal, it's like a royal navy or something like that, to where you're kind of going. You have chain of command. You have
It's not called shit armada. It's called Starfleet.
Yeah, you have to have like a certain dress. You have to act a certain way. You have to, it's and not everybody's wearing their the designs from their home world. If you do, they're tailored to what Starfleet recommends. So I think,
or you've earned it, like Ensign Rowe when she's allowed to put her earrings back on. Because they're not too big of a deal, and she's saved a couple of lives and done things she didn't want to do for Starfleet. Starfleet gives back to her. But on the next ship, the guy might be, take that shit off, because it was Riker who said, I'm going to look the other way on that regulation.
Yeah, but it's almost personal. Like we have a lot of women in my family wear cornrows, and some were in the military, and that was a big deal for them when they were able to do like the braids and the cornrow in the military, which wasn't allowed, right? Which, if you have nappy black hair, it's, it helps out in maintaining
Crazy question, just for clarity. Which military?
The one she is Navy.
Okay, but I just meant ours. Okay, hey.
Oh, no, yes.
My nephew's in the U.S. Navy too, so, go Navy.
Yeah, there you go. Go Navy. Yeah, but we do have people in the Army and all stuff, and some in the not United States. So, but it's just that part of Star Trek. I think it's the missing piece for me that could right a lot of their wrongs.
Sean, did Fletcher just speak pure Admiral Teag propaganda, like absolute pure unadulterated Admiral Teag rant right there, but calmly?
Yeah. But yeah, go on, Fletcher. Yeah, it was very
No,
familiar.
I have made that point over and over and over. Yeah. Just before Fletcher goes on, in Strange New Worlds, it's like you see it, like it takes a while to sink in. It took me a couple of minutes to get it, but it's like on Strange New Worlds, this happens in every episode. Black Science Man Captain April, Admiral April, contacts them and says like, "I've got this a black military man thing for you to do," and then they're like, Pike's like, "Okay," and while the conversation's going on, we hear like the idiot and asshole music is like implied because they have no music and no budget, but it's like boop. Boop, 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 boop. It's like, so what should we do? There are lives at stake. The idiot and asshole music plays the whole time, and the female crew members all look at each other and go like, it's like guys and their toys, and like they're rolling their eyes and they're like shaking their heads. Spock looks dumbfounded and confused till Pike looks over and is like reassures him that it's okay to try to figure it out, and then he's like, "We'll get it done, Black Admiral Man," and he turns off the view screen. Then the stupidity ensues. It's very incoherent all the time. But at the end of the episode, they have miracled their way through magical thinking and plot contrivances of convenience. And a lot of crying in the hallway. But they've gotten to a solution off screen. All the action happened off screen, and they fixed it, and they're amazeballs. And they fucking at the end of the episode, this happens every episode. They're all back on the bridge. And Black Admiral Man again looks at comes on the view screen. And he's like, "Well, Pike, I understand you took care of it." And it's a doot, boop, 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 boop. Like the stupid idiot music from reality TV shows where someone's making ineffective argument. That comes back, and Black Admiral Man's like, "Well, way to go, Pike." And he's like, "Yup. I handled it." And all the female cast members look around and roll their eyes, and he's like, "Mr. Ortegas, all ahead, warp factor 3, and she rolls her eyes, and she's like, "I recommend 4, or so. They never just listen to him. It's fucked up, but hey, we got a chat from Radioactive. Woo-hoo. Admiral Teag. As Admiral Patton stated in Teag Trek, Starfleet is a military organization, not a woke bordello. What's messed up? The thing. Go ahead. Go ahead, say it.
But that's the main thing, because none of that would have happened in their storyline, because you have a chain of command and it's yes sir, no sir. And I'm sorry, I think a lot of people like Next Generation. I think the Next Generation set the bar for poor adaptations of Trek, in my opinion. I'm not the biggest Trekkie. But in my opinion, putting a bar inside the ship, that's because to me, I
trying to remember if that even exists before Whoopi Goldberg offered.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't have a bar in a ship. That's what you do when you're off.
Well,
ship.
Every Navy but ours has one, though. That's the thing.
But that's the thing. Every Navy but ours, correct. But it's
and
not
we
based
win,
on
we
every
win.
Navy.
We win a lot.
It's our Navy. It was based on it's an American show.
I understand.
Our naval ships have an officers' lounge, but I wouldn't call it a bar.
Correct, but it's not a bar.
I think on paper you're not allowed to have alcohol on a ship. I don't know for sure.
And that's you're not.
You might not get thrown out of the Navy unless you drink it while you're on fucking duty.
Right, but it's just like you do have that idea that it became like, oh, now we have not only a bar, but then you had the training room where, now it's a bar and it's a speakeasy. And you're like, I feel like while it's a cool story vehicle, it started to it was the undermine. It started to undermine the how should we say, the structure of it. And that to me was started to decline. I mean, I know, I'm not, even though Christian, we're the Catholic ones, so they do drink. So I'm not a Puritan where it's like, don't drink. But I do have family members in the Navy, and it's like, you don't have a bar in the ship.
I was in church a couple of days ago, and I happened to notice the guy running the whole thing stopped to have a drink right there. So it's got to be kind of okay, right? It can't be the worst thing in the world.
Well, it's part of the whole deal. Now that drink does get turned into blood, so
right, exactly. We're not looking to get wasted on it.
Change the thing. You're not going to waste.
I always thought it was weird that you're supposed to purify your stomach for an hour before you go to church, but then when you go, after mass, you just run out and grab bagels, or at least I do.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm going to have coffee and bagels, right? And I'm starving and
Well, now
also
we got
like
mass at
sometimes
night too,
confused.
so it's like people that go to mass at night, you gotta wait because it's like if you have to work on Sundays, and then you have to wait, or like it's a high holy day, and it falls on a day when it's like when high holidays fall on Friday, and you have to high holy days, guys. For those that are not in the Catholic faiths, are days that uh, we are. Uh, we are told we have to go to church is mandatory, and
And
you only
sometimes I go.
yeah that you should, as you should. Your mom should
I
get
try
on
to
you.
make it to most of them. You know
But
what?
those are
That's
the
where I
days
kind
that
of
you have to
selectively
go.
use confession.
You right? It's like,
During
well,
football season, if the Jets are winning at
yes,
church time, this
yeah.
here's the thing.
That was handicap.
I have a different situation. Maybe we alluded to this before, but here's the thing. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to be talked to or to listen to anything, but I like the peace of going to Mass. So what I'll do is I'll go a little later and I'll hit the Spanish Mass where I understand nothing.
Nice.
But I get the sacrament and I feel at peace and I feel at one. And sometimes it's much more fulfilling. I need it a couple of times a month, to be honest with you. But you speak both languages. What do you do? Do you go to a Chinese church?
Oh, it was funny. We had a issue with the storm, so and it was a high holy day, so you do have a dispensation when there's storms. But us being, crazy Chads, we have to go. So the only one we could find for the time that we went is a Vietnamese one, and we did have a great old time with our Vietnamese brothers and sisters. I did pick up a few of the words, and I did understand kind of like what they were doing because the mass is different for them. They did a combination of posadas and the mass because at the time it was in the Christmas in our Christmas holiday. For those who don't know, in the Catholic Church, Christmas doesn't stop at at the December. It actually goes on into February, depending what rite you are. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on with that, and it was a good time hanging out with them. It was like a longer service, so we did have to stay like 2.5 hours at least. But it was great. But we do most of the time we like to go to the Latin Mass, and that's why we're in FBI watch list from the
He's right
last
here,
administration.
You know what?
Jeez.
The only reason that I hesitate to go to that was simply because doctrinally, are we allowed to go again?
On to where?
But according to the isn't the pontiff a little bit like kind of on the fence about that one?
On the to do what? I'm
The
sorry, I
Latin
didn't catch
Mass.
it. Oh no! It's never against the word. What he's saying was, it's funny because you do get
Time
a
and
lot
place,
of
right?
you get a lot of folks that are translating him differently because Pope Francis is from Argentina,
Yeah, and
and we
sometimes
do
he
speak a
messes up
different
stuff.
Spanish
Didn't he?
than
Like, I love the first week he was Pope. He was just like, and everybody get naked and pray, or some like really bad faux pas like that. He like mispronounced a few words in Italian in a row and just messed it up. But well, nobody's perfect.
No, yeah, no. He basically has people who make the Latin Mass. They're all like if like let's say if I was what my wife calls rat trads, are the ones who like if you don't go to Latin Mass, you're not Catholic. I think that kind of mentality with it. So there's a segment of that who are like they would go to Latin Mass. If they won't go to any Mass in Latin Mass. My thing is like with at least our family, the way we treat it is like less you can go to Mass as long as it's Mass, and as long as it's acceptable. Because even if let's say during or you remember during the time of the unknown virus of unknown origin,
Kung flu.
that we in my family we call the zombie apocalypse. Uh, so during the zombie apocalypse, our parish was closed for some reason. Even the pantry was closed, and that no longer became our parish because how can you have a pantry closed? Because that's what the people that are in need go to get food. from the
Exactly.
church, right? So that's the one place that should never be closed. I don't care what it is. I don't care what's happening outside. You never close that, and you never close the church doors to begin with. So we actually had to find a different parish to go to, and we ended up in different places. We went to Coptic, we went to Greek Orthodox, we went to
I got a bunch of those around here.
right. We went to a Lebanese church. We went to a Egyptian church, not Egyptian. I'm sorry, Ethiopian, which it's the one of the largest rites that originated from one of the actual apostles who went to Ethiopia, and it's one of the rites that was
I'm
never
familiar with
messed
that
with.
story. Let me
Yeah,
ask you a question. If I said to you, you got one shot here, one
right.
more before you die, one more, you can go to any church anywhere in the world. You'll be fine while you're there. There's nothing to worry about. It could be anywhere in the world. Freaking the church at McMurdo Ice Space. If that's where you want to go. Which one would you pick?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
We could scratch Notre Dame off the list, unfortunately.
it's interesting because I think I think me and my wife would go to different ones, so that's the thing. I know she would go to probably like the Sistine Chapel, or there's one in Florence that she loves, um, in Florence, Italy. So something like that. I guess to me, it would be more of my maybe my aunt's congregation in Brazil. Um, so it's more like a homely type deal, or my cousin's one in that's close to Buenos Aires. So there'll be like two places that I would like to go to. That's more homey. It's more homey, and they're both Latin mass, so it would definitely be a Latin mass church.
Yeah, okay. I think I've already been to the one in Prague. That was something. I've been to two different St. Patrick's cathedrals in New York, including the one for the beginning of gangs in New York.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
The one in New York, the one on Fifth Avenue, yeah. Sometimes I think, like, why do I bother going to my church when I could just take the train a little further?
And
You know
just see
what I
the
mean?
beautiful, yeah,
Go
yeah.
to- I think like I'll probably do it one day, like when there's nothing else going on, not some major day of worship. I know that like way uptown there's an awesome church called the Church of Saint Paul the Apostle, where
Oh,
my
yes,
great
yes,
great
yes.
grandparents
Right.
my great grandparents got married there.
Oh, that is so awesome. That's a beautiful church.
Yeah, they were like, oh, like I'm something like an eighth generation New Yorker on one side, but
Wow.
I want to welcome the Pat. I want to be my pal from the Outlaw Bill Sports Network. We had such a
Hey,
great time
what's up, Pat? I want to
talking
be.
football the other day, and we're gonna be back doing the Super Bowl. That's gonna be fun. Admiral Teague's gonna drink. It's gonna be
Oh no.
something else. Yeah, we talked about that one before. I guess. Well, we're talking about these things we're passionate about. We're kind of not totally on the same page on this aspect, but like you were introducing new information I wasn't aware of. So I'll just say how I felt about it, and you can tell me, your point of view, and just talk freely. So
Okay.
here's what I felt. In our show 1923, we saw the dark side of Catholic school, but I thought that the guy was very fair about it because one, he didn't keep calling them the Catholic Church. He didn't berate. He didn't overdo it. He didn't call them out by name. He never used the name. You had to figure it out. I thought for a while he invented his own whack religion that maybe went out of existence,
Right.
or some fictional religion that never existed, because he seemed to be mixing and matching Baptist and Catholic stuff to make something totally different. And I'm like,
Wow.
I think this is great artistry to do this way, so no one has to feel fucking bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
However, I misheard one line, and when I rewatched it, the deal is they're never named, but they can only be Catholics based on their garb. But they're not named. So we could still free to say maybe they're just some weirdos.
Okay. I mean,
There are extinct sects that had the same kind of garb. Like
No,
the 19th
for
century was
sure,
a
yeah.
great awakening that had many different Christian sects.
no, correct. I mean, there's funny things about the church. I mean, one
Oh
of the
wait,
main
real quick.
things. Go ahead.
Real quick. When you go to the regular mass from time to time, right?
Right.
Do you do the hands clasped in front or hands up and out? I can't do hands up and out. F that.
No, that's it's not. It's one
It's
of
not
the
taught that way.
supposed to be a Second Vatican thing. I mean, we won't get into theology here, but yeah, that's like
That's
a
I've only seen
hippie
the
thing.
Pentecostals do
It's
it. Not
not.
that there's anything wrong
No,
with it.
yeah, we don't
Not
do
that there's
that.
anything
The
wrong with
hands
them, rather.
clasp. You do hands claps and communion in the tongue kneeling. That's it. I mean, other than that, that's crazy.
I guess I would have to. I remember that because that's how I was taught. But then when, like, a few years after I was taught, they're like, "Take it with your hands like this," and I was like,
No way.
"Wow."
No way.
But I
Never.
got used. You know what it was? I got used to it and secured it. And my mother was an extraordinary minister, so to have my mother hand it to me was really meaningful. So it was. Since it's not against church doctrine, I
No,
do
yeah,
it.
no.
I
Like I
prefer
said,
it on the tongue, but no one else does it, and now I just feel weird.
it's yeah, and I can see that. It's funny because my wife veils.
Peer pressure made
And
me
a
do
lot
it.
of new girls like maybe like are coming into the Catholic Church because we're having like a huge boom right now. And you see a lot of young girls coming in and they're like they don't know whether to veil or not veil. And it's you're like it's it's like we say it's not mandatory so it's up to you. But
Yeah.
my wife veils. I love it when she veils. And it's just your own personal thing, like I said. But to me, it's like no matter what I am, that's what I'm gonna do because that's just that's all. It's part of our history, you know what I mean, and it's more. I mean, what's more personable than to do that? You're basically taking it into you through the most sacred way. There's no like in between. If you wash your hands or didn't wash your hands, or anything like that, it's more, and it's actually more hygienic, which I didn't even understand what people were doing. All the put it in your hands, but then did the the sanitizers are still in a lot of churches and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know why that is, because you can just save it if they put it in the tongue. It's like you're set, you have no
Especially
problem.
now during the greeting of peace and regular mass, where we just kind of give each other a, kind of wave of the Vulcan salute.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that thing with the Vulcan salute, yeah, it's funny though. Yeah, it's
It's,
like
what, I understand why it's better for everybody. We have older people and everything like that, and to get together as a community, it's a terrible loss after 2,000 years. But at the same time, it's like to continue it without risking anyone's life. I'll deal with it. But here's another one. I got one for you. We're allowed to go either way on this one. What do you think, Fletcher? We're allowed to believe in evolution or creation. I feel like there's too much fossil evidence. I'm a creationist. I'm an evolutionist.
And I guess that's one of the things. It's I'm a little bit what would you call like Thomas Sowell about it. What is
Is
the
that with the
parameters?
God breathed life into
No, no, he's an
the?
economist. But his main thing is what are the parameters of the question that you're asking, and because that changes the answer. If you believe in godly evolution, meaning like there's things that evolved because there's needs for that to be
I
evolving.
believe that I believe that an asteroid falling into primordial soup, if it's the will of God, can be the hand of God. What would be wrong with it?
I and that would be a very interesting and chaotic beginning to it, which it would make
No, I
sense in a
think, like,
sense.
what if he willed it?
Hey, he willed it, but I think God is more elegant. I think, everything's more beautiful. I mean, if you look at the universe, people say that even if you move the Earth like a little bit to the left or to the right, rather like a frozen tundra planet or baked in the sun planet, there's a equilibrium to it. There's a golden mean. There's um, you know. Even in design and everything that's designed in the universe and in life, there's certain like design structures that are, you know, run the gambit in architecture, in the cosmos, in everything that's created and that moves around, the beauty of nature, everything that's around us. It's kind of like saying, okay, what he did is he crashed a bunch of things together and that's how he did it. I just kind of feel like God is a little bit more elegant, where he would create something a little bit more beautiful. I mean, look at an eagle fly, look at a cosmos, through the to a telescope, and you're kind of going
I've
like,
done it.
man,
Yeah,
it's just as beautiful, and you can't
I
say
took
that you're
Search
like,
for
"Wow,
Life in the Universe at Stony
right."
Brook, so I got to sit in the observatory.
Dude,
with
and
the
how
radio
beautiful is that? Doesn't it
telescope.
feel like it's just the hand of God moving things around?
There's got to be something
It's got to
else.
be like the Holy Spirit just going breath into
It's
it
not the
and
Force.
say, boom. It's just beautiful. I mean, and
I will say
everything out
this,
of focus is it just becomes crazy.
I find the concept of a meteor into the primordial soup kind of beautiful, but the fact that we're all made of everything from that initial Big Bang is still allowable, I think there's something kind of amazing about that. Like, so in the end, we all have everything in common.
Yeah.
Rather than things to fight over, we more have everything in common.
Yeah, and completely. Not only that, I mean, if we just come from two people, Adam and Eve, then we're all brothers and sisters, and
Well,
that's
no, we
kind of
got
like the
Lilith
mythic.
as well, right?
You got Lilith.
Isn't that? I believe that's in the that's in the Bible, though.
No, I think you're reading a different one on that one. But
I thought that Lot took another wife east of Eden.
but we are part of,
Or not. No, sorry, not Lot. Wait.
You're
I
going a
mentioned,
little further into it.
Wait. No. Wait. When driven, like Cain and Abel, one's driven out, and he has he finds people east of Eden.
Yeah, but supposedly those are already descendants of himself, descendants of his own people. In other words, they're still, we have hundreds of years like into it, meaning the life of people back then was a lot longer than the ones we have now. Because we were closer before. It was perfect beings. It's kind of like the whole what I think Riley Scott was trying to do with the whole alien thing, the perfect species type deal.
One?
Yeah, so it's kind of like the perfect beings that, you're obviously if now we have people that can live over 100 years if they're within their faculties and have, I mean, I think a nun, which I think nuns are like the longest living humans in the world. Nun just I think it was 110th birthday in Africa. This lady, beautiful nun, that just had her birthday, and you're like, if they're able to live so long because they're closer in communion with God, imagine when we were completely almost full communion with God. That would be. It's almost like you're so close to the battery source. You're so close to the primordial, as you would say, its source, that you're decaying and because I mean we're completely vibrating beings, where our cells are spinning at breakneck speed, but we're still held together, which is fascinating. But then you have like if you're closer to that energy source and to that being, of course you would think that whatever's resonating us, whatever's creates us, you would be like, you would last longer, right? It's just you're closer to the battery source, right?
I like it, and I also like that I have the freedom to have my view too. It's like that's the one cool thing about it. It's like the Pope's like, and if you don't believe that, that's okay too on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has. You know what? One time it was funny because we were talking about one of these things. It wasn't a start of a joke, like a Catholic, a Protestant, and a Mormon walked into a bar thing, right? But we were discussing certain things, and a lot of the times they were like, "Well, if you don't believe that, then that's it." And I had my argument was like, okay, well, certain things are negotiable, non-negotiable, but I think some things are not world-ending to me. Like if I believe that you guys, you believe this or this and all stuff, it's not gonna like destroy your faith to believe in that or to think something like that. I mean, if you're going around and committing grave sin, then but it's it's one thing. But if you're just pragmatic. Sinning a little bit, yeah, you're like everybody does it, and you would it's not like hateful. to say anybody, hey, watch out, because I would want somebody to tell me, hey, you're acting up, and I'm like, oh man, sorry. It's the same way. It's like, when you're sleeping, somebody wakes you up in the wheel. It's like, straighten up. You're like, you're going in an accident, or eat right, and you're like, yeah, man, but I really want to have a pizza, and it's like, hey, it's just a kind of like a little bit of warning, and I think we fly away too much from that and go too much into the like be outraged about things, and that could backfire for a lot of things. Not everybody's in the same area.
Speaking of people who are like subject to outrage, Mel Gibson seems to have a new movie. Are they in the, how far along is this one?
So
Resurrection of the Christ?
Yeah, so my understanding is that it's already like in semi pre-production.
How much control does Jim Caviezel have? Because I think at this point he may have a little more clout when it comes to negotiating with people. Because Mel is brilliant. I think that honestly at this point Mel's a brilliant director who's drank too much and might just be too much of a nut to get insurance in America without someone else being like, I'm going to make sure that Mel stays on the reservation until the movie's over, and then like we won't have him on the press tour because he's crazy.
It could be, but he does surround himself with great talent that keeps him
when he's focused and making his movie, he makes a great freaking movie. Let the man work. I'm sorry that he has the problem he has. Oh, maybe it's not a problem to him.
They're doing Lethal Weapon 5.
Yeah, they're doing.
That's
cool.
He's
been
Danny
working.
Glover going to do it with him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you can look at that both sides. Yeah, that's the unity that we're looking for.
Interesting point. 6 months ago, the cop who arrested him was let go from the force before giving like full retirement and full tenure. Like he built up too many complaints.
I wonder if the line in Lethal Weapon 5 is going to be, I'm really too old for this.
It probably will.
They're going to have to bring them back. And like, but Murtaugh had a daughter. Her grandkid will be the cop now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 5 generations back for this goddamn movie. When he finds his pen in this one, will it be a quill pen? I mean, jeez.
Well, you know what? We're having a resurgence of this kind of like classic things coming back. I mean, even in a modern take, we look at Bad Boys, the recent Bad Boys, which was a pretty decent movie. It's a fun popcorn movie. And it brought, like, there was a character named Reggie, who was like a 15-year-old in the beginning of the first one, who was dating his daughter, now married his daughter and became like a Marine or something. And at the end, he had a great moment where he defended the family and was a bit of a badass. And I thought that was a great moment. I think they could do something like that in Lethal Weapon. It could work. All these things could work. All these great ideas that people have, like, let's do this. I know a lot of people are talking about the Goonies and stuff like that. And you're like, don't remake the Goonies. And it's like, yeah, don't remake it, because they're only saying that because we know how Hollywood is working. But if Hollywood wasn't working like that, everybody would be like, heck yeah, Goonies, right? I mean,
I would hope so, if it was a good movie, but I don't see it being a good movie. And after what happened with Ghostbusters just grinding to a halt, I don't see it as a good idea. You know what I mean? I don't see it as something that we want to do anymore. Like, Ghostbusters just fundamentally didn't get it. While it was a good movie, it wasn't a comedy. And then the second one I heard was like less of a good movie, and people were just
like, "Are you talking about what was it, the Frozen
Afterlife?"
I'm talking honestly both. With Afterlife, it was not. There was like 2 jokes in that movie, and one of them was cringe. Yeah. I'm serious. Watch the movie. Paul Rudd keeps the movies that maintain a lighthearted tone and are good movies and have like a consistent humorous tone but don't have actual jokes. That's not a comedy. That's a lighthearted movie. It was a good movie. It was a lighthearted movie. It mixed in enough real drama. I still say why Egon at all, but whatever. You mixed in enough real life stuff from the lore. You respected it. The thing is, when they took it one step further in Frozen Empire, it seems to me it was just like the magic was gone, because all people wanted, because even Ghostbusters 2 with the original cast, people were like, you know what I mean? They're like, maybe 3 will look at it, and like it took them X amount of years. People just wanted to wash the taste out of the other movie out of their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, and with Ghostbusters, you kind of go, it's Ghostbuster the movie and then Ghostbuster the cartoon, right? For a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think with Ghostbusters, the movie didn't really come together for me. Because I even talked about when my wife was a normie on Ghostbusters, and she even found like the flaws.
Which one, the
It's too,
first one or the second one?
well, we
Because
we
the
went
second
to
one I
see.
heard leans into the cartoons, which might
It
have helped
did
some people.
try to. It did try to, but it had too many moving parts that were not that didn't need to be there. They were just kind of like member berries.
Ooh, so it
Um,
wasn't rejected so much as it, like again, I was right. It was like they made another movie, and while it was a decent movie, it wasn't good like the first one, and it was like it was out of our system. They needed to win us over again, and they failed to do it.
they put too much into it, I think, and it went a little bit. It went a little bit. I can see what they were trying to do. In other words, I don't fault them totally for what they were trying to do. I do fault the execution of it. There was too many cooks in the kitchen, and the sauce was a little bit bitter, I think. So they burnt the garlic on that one, and you can never burn the garlic. Just saying. But yeah, but with this new passion, I do think that they could come up with something really really well done. Because they did have really good people involved in the project. Um, I mean, I think even the Vatican sent a few people into it, so it's. I think he can pull off a really good movie, and I would a lot of people. He's working on I think the Battle of Malta. I think he's also working on a TV show, and that's the one that I was really kind of excited about. And I still don't have much information about that one because I did a
At the
video
end of
about
the
that one.
day, before we land this plane, it's been what I didn't. I was hoping to have you for an hour and a half. You've been great.
Yeah,
And
my
we're gonna
wife
have
went
to,
into the other room, so that's a good part. She gave me
you
a
know.
like, she was doing a rosary group, and she gave me like a dirty look, and I'm like, it's all right, I'll be gone a little bit, so I have to do my rosary with her a little bit. Uh, but
I
I was
appreciate you
thank you so much for
spending the
inviting me.
time with us.
It was a
Will
great
you
time.
please come back? Everybody loved you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and that sometimes I kind of ramble on, but I really appreciate you having
You
me
were a
on. And
great guest.
oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's great. The chat's awesome. You guys are rock stars. Sean, is a pleasure and an honor to meet you.
Same
Um,
here.
and uh, it's it's really nice to hang out with my Interflex friends. For a little bit, and thank you for inviting me. Sure, if like I said before, Teague, if I have the time and I'm available, of course, anytime
We
works for
loved
me
having you.
as long as the time constraint is workable. Today I'm kind of in between projects. I got all my work done a little bit early. I just got one thing to finish tonight, and after the rosary, of course. But no, thanks for having me. It was really great. Thanks for having me, and
My
we'll
rosary's right next to my bed.
well, there you go.
Yeah, hey, it helps me out. You know what, guys? We got a little personal on this one tonight. You don't have to forget about it or nothing. It was a different kind of show, but like, I'm not afraid. During the week, it's a talk show, and like, I'll just lean into my guests. I had a good time listening to Fletcher. I hope you guys did too. You were so generous, so generous. You know what? I'll work on a member video, and I'll have it out sometime tomorrow. I'm trying to look up something of worth, and I was thinking about taking a subway ride and just filming it for a while, because
That's
last one
cool.
that
Yeah.
seemed to be the last time I took everyone on a subway ride, and it seemed like it was, to me, I thought like maybe an experience a lot of you haven't had, and I went through like it was in 2 or 3 different boroughs. Some of it was in Manhattan, so
Oh,
I
cool.
it was, yeah, and some of it was on the bridge. But
Hey,
I
you
could
know
go
what
take
you
the
should
train
do?
tomorrow.
You know what you should do? You should do now that Fantastic Four is coming out. You should do something on Delancey Street, because I think that's the fictional area where Yancey Street, where the Thing
I
was
love that
born.
part of Manhattan.
Right? So maybe do something like, hey, this is the real Yancey Street. That would be very interesting, and I could probably get you some views because of the Fantastic Four coming out, and people kind of interested in the history of maybe Ben Grimm, and maybe get some old folks talking to say, "This is the accent, bro."
Yeah, right.
But-
We'll find someone who used to live
There
in
you
the
go.
neighborhood if it's not
There you
in
go.
totally, if it's even
Yeah.
residential anymore. But
Well, I don't know. I haven't been to Lansing in a long time, but thank you so
I
much
don't-
for having me. My wife's looking at me.
no
across
problem.
that.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you,
We're gonna land this ship. Thank you for
all right.
being here. I'll let
No
you beam
problem.
off though.
Thank
Go
you so
ahead
much, Sean.
and tell her
Teag-
thank you for letting us borrow you, and I'll
Yes,
see you again
no problem.
soon.
All right. Have
All
a good
right.
one. Bye bye.
Bye. Sean, you and I get to land the show together. What are we
All
doing
right.
on the next exciting episode of Star Trek Enterprise?
Yeah, what did we watch? What episode are we doing?
The last one was Dead Stop. The
Yeah,
next
Dead
one's
Stop.
pretty good. I remember thinking it was pretty good. Let's see, Enterprise season 2 episodes. You know what, guys? I want to say this. The older downloads are longer, but they're also pretty good. They don't have as much video. The last you know what? I was thinking of this, Sean. What would happen if I went back and just re-uploaded, since I know they're safe, re-uploaded only the last 20 minutes of all the reviews that didn't work?
You
Would
do
that
that.
then? Now that I write down when the episode ends and we don't curse for that 20 minutes while we do our reviews, that has become a very good upload every week. And yesterday's Enterprise still deserves a better fate. Help my upload. Help my upload. Help it. And spam
You know
the
what?
emojis. We have so many members.
That's good. If maybe on the next one, the panel, not just you, but me and JT and Germ, if he's there, if we keep it in mind, okay, the review part, we can kind of keep in the back of our mind that you're going to be uploading this part. We'll
Right. I
kind of
don't
shift
mind
gears a
editing
little
that
bit.
one. Yeah, I don't mind editing that one, but the thing is, we have to stay relatively cursing free until maybe the after we wrap up, then we can have have at it, because
Well, we generally don't during the review part anyway.
But Mauler and everyone else cursed during their reviews, and they couldn't be bigger, so we'll be fine. But I guess this episode is, according to Google, episode 5, A Night in Sick Bay. We had mentioned that before.
Right, yeah. That might be a
John-
hard one for John.
That's one. This one's for you, John. It's up to you. Fair warning.
Yeah.
It's a
I'll
good
understand
episode,
if John
though.
can't make it to that one. That's
Here's a
when I was
word.
rewatching it a couple weeks ago. I thought about him.
Here's a word on the weekday shows, guys. I leave the AdSense on and turn it off right before the show because it gets people here. I found by not triggering the ads, it seems like they didn't go off because it's an experiment. I just triggered them before, so we'll see what happens. I'll get the feedback on that. I don't know if they happened or not, but if I have complete control where I could trigger one, the idea that I would leave the AdSense on and only subject you to one commercial break where I could warn you, that wouldn't be so bad, because really what happens is today with the AdSense left on, there were more people here than there's been in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
By 4 or 5 people. We topped out at a beautiful 14 viewers and maintained it for a while. It was really good. It's a great viewing show, which is good because it went long. And so we have to thank you guys. We'll be back on Saturday at 9:30, but I think I might do something either on the second channel, which I told everyone about, but I'll tweet out again. And I might do it on Friday night, or we might just try something on Friday. I don't know. We'll see what everyone's up to, because there's still much Star Trek work to be done. But I can't thank you guys enough for the generosity. It was absolutely wonderful of you tonight. I was unexpected, so I'm really humbled. And I guess before I go, the last thing I have to say is Saving Star Trek is brought to you by the genius of Gene Roddenberry, the skill and just fantastic delivery of William Shatner, the love of this panel, and the generosity of the Helena Rubinstein Foundation, as well as Wes Cagle, Radioactive, J.T. Kirk, and Sean Carter. Thank you, Sean. And
Thank you.
Several gifts from both. Radioactive, especially generous, making 5 people a member of our channel. Best Kegel making a 6-person member of our channel. Who knows when we refresh the 10 things? I never release them because it's just like, you know what I mean? Why pump up the community too much? But when we got like 60, 70 people, might as well just do it to see if we could get the emoji. We got it. I have a placeholder emoji right now. If you look, this is the placeholder emoji. We have to think about the people from the show. Will figure out what we'll do. But here is the placeholder. It's just the rank. It's the symbol for people who've been here for a year or more. Or wait, no, is that a year or more, or is that 6 months to a year? That's 6 months to a year, I believe. We have. I don't know.
Wait, are you sharing your screen? I'm not seeing anything.
I put it into the chat. You won't be able to see it on the stream.
Okay. I don't have the YouTube. I don't have YouTube
I
open.
redid all the badging, right? And here's one of the things, guys. When everyone had a wrench, people were freaked out because not enough people said hello. So if you have the wrench, please say hello to people. And when people give to me, if I'm on a rant or something, do help me out. I'm not saying you have to be the Doomcock mods. I'm not saying that you have to, like, you know, there's enough people now that people can split. I'm used to doing all the modding myself up to now anyway. So if you could give me any help whatsoever, this is what I'm saying. We got to continue to look at the mod situation. If people come in here and are freaked out about it, we got to withdraw some of them. There's still a lot of left that, like, I haven't seen the people in a while. I can get rid of them too. I don't mean to do it pejoratively, but like Sean, it was a bad look, right? Other channels.
I think. Well, it's
people,
like
people
every
were freaked
channel,
out when they came here. That was the problem, guys.
Yeah, I think every channel does that. Like a lot of time people start channeling, "Hey, you're a wrench," because it's just you're having fun. And then when the channel gets to be a certain level, then you're like, okay, these aren't just like loyal watchers anymore. You need mods that are going to actually mod.
I have to respect the people who come here and help donate to the community. And what they said was this: is like, I didn't know what to do because when I gave the Gifty memberships, no one seemed to really get one from my perspective because everyone had a wrench anyway. And don't these wrenches get things? And I'm realizing that it's not me. It's the YouTube economy of, like, if you're a wrench, you're supposed to do something for it and get something for it. So it's not me. Like, I would prefer to have it the way we were, but when it's turning people off, it becomes bad for Star Trek. When it's making people not want to join a community and making people not want to give, it becomes counterproductive to Star Trek. And look at this first stream where we freed up a lot of people from the responsibility. No one comes here and says it looks bad, your mods don't say hi, because people don't think of themselves as a mod here. And now I asked a few times.
Yeah.
Over the course of the few months, you may have heard me say, please say hello, guys, please. And no one really responded. And I'm not being a school teacher about this. It's just like, all we did was reset to something much closer to baseline. And we're still got 2/3 more mods than any channel this size should have. Doomcock has as many mods as me.
I think he only has 4
people. Yeah,
4 or 5.
Yeah,
I could probably name them. We got SP4H. You got SP4H. Heather L. RN Feliciano, Sandra Feliciano, Apple 2GS. Who am I missing?
Ginger Menace is there.
Ginger Menace is 6. I don't think there are any more.
The panelists, I guess, Gary probably.
No, Gary's not a wrench.
Okay. So yeah, there you have it. So we still have,
Jill. Jill's a wrench.
Jill, yeah. Loyalty wrenches like our thing. And some of them are deserved. And also on this channel, we have a battle history with that thing where all the subs fought together. But like, for the most part, like, the people who did the most replicant destructions, they kept their wrenches. And people who got deleted from the chat by mistake, I kept them with wrenches. But for the most part, it was supposed to be for people who create it. So I did. I think Alabama Hellbelly still has one, but we still had to address the mod situation, and it is what it is. But I guess we're good now. But as we look at it, like we still can't see who are members. We still have a lot of people who are wrenched up.
Yeah.
So
good night, John.
Commit to
Hope
saying
to
hi.
see you Saturday, buddy. It's gonna it may be a tough episode for you, but hope to see you. If not, we understand.
We understand. Put a J in the chat for John, because he's the person we're thinking about. And whatever John wants that wish to go to. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't. I wouldn't sweat the too many mod thing. I think you handled it right. It's just like you can have too many cooks in the kitchen. You can have too many producers on a TV show. And like you said, there's a lot of memberships that give away. The chat is so generous with giving memberships, and so the people that are normally there anyway that might have lost a wrench, they're still going to get member benefits and stuff, and they're still just as important to the channel. So it's just making the name not blue. That's all.
Yeah, making the name not blue is a big deal, and like I said, I still have to consider the situation. If people are freaked out when they come in here, it hurts us all, because we do want to grow the community. And the thing is, the lay of the land of YouTube is going to stay the lay of the land of YouTube. I can't change it. So when people come here, if we become somehow aversive to people enjoying it by doing this, I have to do what's best for Star Trek and the channel. But you guys were so generous this month, and so generous last month. Thank you for the heat and the food. It was great. I fucking loved it. I'm gonna make a member video thanking all of you, and on live streams I can say this. I don't do it on regular streams, and maybe I should take a poll on this. Do you guys understand that when I do the introductions to the videos, it's like a different approach than the live, and like sometimes I what did you think of the experiment? Sean was freaked out by it, but what do you think of it now? Processing it, just be honest. Enterprise. Yesterday's Enterprise is season 3 episode. What did you think of that approach? Like ship's computer approach. I did get passionate later. I got passionate when I talked about the Enterprise Sea Crew, but I started out very.
I guess I missed the Admiral Teag I'm used to. It really threw me off.
My thought was that the Admiral Teag you're used to failed to engage people with the New York Minute for Live, where I'd be like, Florida man, and we'd have all the fun with that.
Well, maybe
that's
not,
only funny live, so
maybe
it
not
needs
volume
a proper
11
intro.
Admiral Teag. I'm thinking more like volume 4, volume 5 Admiral Teag. That the Florida man thing that you just did is like volume 11 Admiral Teag.
Right. The thing is that it needs to have a different introduction than the actual show anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it's a reread of the same one, it can't be delivered on the same emotional level at all.
I guess maybe the thing is, did you read that from a script?
I read it 3 times from a script, and then cut out all the train noise and took the takes that I thought were best. And I was like, for a while there, I was like, I really sound like almost like the computer. I like it. I sound like I like. Yeah, I can admit I liked it.
Maybe if you did it and had some background bridge noise or something
John,
to it.
John just asked the question. Let's address John directly. This episode is Night in Sick Bay. If it's a tough show for you, we understand.
It's the one when Porthos is sick and he's in sick bay overnight.
Oh, John owns the show. I'm pretty sure he knows. But
I don't know if he knew from the title, but
yeah.
But
I don't know if you want us to mention it or not. The thing is, once we mention it and the cat's out of the bag, it'll go through the whole show. So I think what we should do is we should try to make sure to keep it in mind and mention it at the end or before John has to go to bed, because the thing to do is not to. I want to entertain John. You know what I mean? I want to entertain John, but I love John. You're okay with it? All right. So it'll all be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You can DM me too and tell me a little more. Yeah, we want to do it in a way that's cool for you, but the journey of this fleet does go on. I didn't want to skip it because it is a good episode. We've got a few good episodes after showing people a couple of weird ones, just like Carbon Creek
Well,
is great,
we
but
got
that
a
was
stinker
bad
coming
timing.
up soon after this one, though.
Yeah, if you missed the Days of Anger. And you know what? I look forward to, like, and I want to thank, like, in particular, we haven't seen her in a while here, and I'd love to see her in the chat, but she was a member for like 3 or 4 months, and she doesn't like Enterprise at all, so I give her so much credit and thank Fiona McPherson, Princess Fiona McPherson. I haven't seen her in a
Princess
bit,
Fiona, I haven't seen her in a
I
while.
miss her.
Yeah.
I miss her. She's sweet. But the thing she did was, even though she didn't like it, she supported our channel because she believed in Star Trek on Saturday nights.
And she gets a chance to voice her criticisms and stuff, but
She will be given more latitude than most, I promise. We love those opinions from her. She was great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But going back to the question you asked me about the your presentation that was a little bit more cadenced. I would say if you want to do that, like you were saying with the computer, I would add like some bridge background effect or something like that kind of makes it seem more like you're reading a captain's log or something.
I wondered if it was too specifically Star Trek. So what I usually do is I started out with that communicate with the sound of activating.
Yeah, you could do that, but there's like ambient background bridge noise you can add in there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
just with the sound. That might be better.
I think
to
that
do it,
and people complain about it.
Just turn it down, just a low, just so it's like barely detectable.
True.
Barely detectable. It will make a difference. Either that or just kind of what
for the Star
maybe
Trek
what I would
video
do.
essays. Why not? 'Cause
Yeah,
we both found in Savage that Star Trek soundboard for all the sounds we use, and we'll never tell anyone else where we found it. No, you're not gonna find out. You're not gonna find out. We have the best Star Trek soundboard. We found it. Thank you, Star Trek gods.
The other thing I would say is maybe not read it from the script, but just read it so that you get the idea, and then it might come out a little more organic if you're not reading it.
Yeah, the thing is, if I don't read it, I start to mispronounce words, and I also start to leave out words. Like, there's one where I just like I speak to New York. When I speak off the cuff, it's so New York that I would say it's fair to say I speak in jargon.
Florida man, that's a level.
Heard
of
this.
We need to do is just
jargon.
AI. We need to get your voice as an AI model, and then you can type it.
What's great is, yes. What's great is I want to thank you for giving me the title of great nicknamer. I have the best words. Pride Weather is fucking funny. Pride Weather is fucking funny. We have to find a way. I don't have the skill to do it. I want to take Pride Weather and superimpose him over the Pride flag, but like. And I don't want to make it a Starfleet Pride flag. And could you imagine if someone likes new Star Trek and they come to our show and they're like, what's with these people? And it's like, they have the right emojis.
Yeah. Hey,
I don't like how they male gaze to Paul, but okay.
Real quick. Would you want to do an outro? Do you want to do the video again? I don't know if there's anyone in the chat that didn't see the
Paul of Ahoshi.
No, the little Alex Kurtzman video.
Let's leave on little Alex Kurtzman. It's great. And we'll confer for a minute and we'll get out of here. Guys, we loved you all. Thank you for being here for a very different kind of Tuesday. Tuesday's the talk show. Monday's going to be the Inside Paramount show, where we're going to talk about all the Paramount stuff and look at their business and talk about the stuff that we can pick up and read. So it'll be fun. Germ's the co-host on that one. It's going to be good stuff, man. Cool. It's going to set the tone for all sci-fi news. But yeah, let's fire that one up. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
You're welcome. I'm hoping this becomes a fan favorite, man. I really love this thing. But the more I watch it, the more I see the
freaking awesome.
Yeah, and the cadence and stuff of it. But so I saw a couple other people pop in the chat who maybe not have been here before. So
wow, hello.
What I'm going, maybe I'm wrong, but what I'm going to show here, you guys, is just a little video I put together through Suno. It's an AI generated song, but I did write the lyrics, and all the clips in here, I downloaded them and spliced them together and timed them up on the video editing. So here we go, guys. Shit, I gotta hit present.
Before you fire it up, I'll just say this. Think about the wrench thing. If you don't want to be held to saying hi to people, if you're more of a lurker, just let me know. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
We love you all.
All right, guys, here we go.
Pure, absolutely pure.